After Jiang Chengshuan proposed his plan, the entire command camp was filled with an atmosphere of joy. Everyone exchanged glances, reflecting on and imagining the potential impact of this plan on the battlefield. The more they thought about it, the brighter their smiles became. Their gazes toward Jiang Chengshuan carried a hint of reverence. This man's abilities were extraordinary. Not only was his strength formidable, but his strategic insight was equally impressive. Moreover, his appearance seemed so timely, as if a destined savior sent by the heavens. Boom! However, before they could indulge in their happiness for long, a series of violent explosions and tremors suddenly resounded from outside the city walls. Woo woo! The chilling sound of a massive war horn made of metal and stone echoed along with the wind, deafening everyone. Instantly, the joy on everyone's faces vanished, replaced by grim determination. It seems the beast army is launching another assault. Let's move. The city lord of Twin Peaks City was the first to rise from his seat. His imposing figure stood tall and commanding as he called out to the others. Hearing this, Jiang Chengshuan and the others nodded, rising from their seats like sharp swords, exuding an aura of strength and resolve. Led by the city lord, they all harnessed their immortal energy, transforming into beams of light as they flew toward the front line. At that moment, a cold voice suddenly echoed in Jiang Chengshuan's mind, startling him before filling him with joy. Ding! System task: achieve the accomplishment of defending Twin Peaks City. The unexpected voice was from the system he hadn't heard from in a long time. Jiang Chengshuan hadn't anticipated that the situation in Twin Peaks City, which seemed unrelated to him, would draw the system's attention. Regardless, this unexpected delight and the potential rewards from the system were something he was determined to strive for. As they approached the front line, Jiang Chengshuan's fighting spirit burned even brighter. Roar! The scene at the front lines gradually unfolded before them. This battlefront was far larger than the one managed by Elder Wan, with the beast army even more numerous, like an endless sea of sand. Countless enormous beast figures roared ceaselessly, each emanating different types of energy as they surged toward the city walls with overwhelming force. In an instant, the pitch-black night was torn apart by countless streams of light. Thunderous explosions echoed from both the ground and the sky, like massive waves crashing down. Great heavenly creation palm. With a cold glint in his eye, the city lord of Twin Peaks City unleashed his immortal energy, displaying the full power of his peak ascendant immortal realm. His presence was announced to the defending forces as he summoned a massive palm of energy, spanning hundreds of miles, to suppress the incoming beastly flood. Boom, 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 boom. The collision of forces lit up the sky with explosions, causing continuous tremors. City Lord Mighty! City Lord Mighty! The defending soldiers of Twin Peaks City cheered, their voices resounding like thunder. At this moment, the city lord, Jiang Chengshuan, and the others landed on the city walls, standing firm against the beastly tide. Before them, the beast army drew dangerously close. Their enormous eyes glowed like burning stars, approaching with the fury of a tearing storm. Roar! Facing the barrier, the surging beast army continued their savage assault. They swung their claws, flapped their wings spanning hundreds of feet, and leaped thousands of miles to strike the barrier with terrifying force, attempting to break through with brute strength. Fire at will! With a stern expression, the city lord roared his command. Immediately, the defending soldiers, their morale high, unleashed their powers, using various defensive artifacts to launch devastating attacks at the densely packed beast horde. Boom, boom, boom! Instantly, the barrier was engulfed in endless explosions and energy waves, causing even the massive city walls to tremble continuously. Roar! At this moment, from within the shadowy beast army, a domineering roar erupted. Three terrifying figures towering to the heavens slowly emerged like mountain peaks rising from the ground. In response, the city lord, Jiang Chengshuan, and the others adopted serious expressions. Their robes fluttered in the wind as they unleashed their full power. These figures were clearly the ascendant, immortal-level beasts leading the army. As their forms became fully visible, Jiang Chengshuan took in their appearances. The three towering beasts stood in a triangular formation, their auras terrifying like three celestial mountains suppressing the area. The one on the right was a bipedal creature resembling a scaled serpent, with limbs on its belly and crystal-like scales covering its body. It had 6 blood-red eyes. The beast on the far left was a bird-like creature with wings spanning 1,000 feet. Its black feathers shimmered with mystical light, each feather seeming to carry the power of destruction. Although it had wings, its body resembled that of a wolf, immensely robust and domineering. Its black claws were exposed, and its vertical pupils scanned the surroundings, instilling a chilling fear in anyone who met its gaze. Yuan Crystal Lizard Dragon Black Wolf Bird King, Jiang Chengxuan muttered to himself, recalling the names from the elder's report. And the last one is the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear. He turned his gaze to the center, where the largest of the beasts stood. It resembled a giant bear, radiating nine-colored celestial light, and was surrounded by an eternal storm. This colossal creature bore an ancient bloodline and was as tall as the towering walls of Twin Peaks City, even appearing slightly taller. They've returned, the three great beast immortals. The last battle didn't even hurt them, they're still at their peak. These three great beast immortals are too terrifying. For a moment, the appearance of the three massive beasts dampened the morale of the Twin Peaks City defenders. Facing such overwhelming power, those with insufficient cultivation were easily affected by their aura. This natural advantage of the beasts could not be underestimated. However, thanks to the celestial barrier of Twin Peaks City and the authority accumulated by the city lord, the defenders managed to maintain their high spirits, continuing to launch attacks against the beast army. With the presence of the three great beast immortals, the attacking beasts grew even more ferocious and violent. Young friend Jiang, shall we test the strength of this beast army together? At this moment, the city lord of Twin Peaks City decided it was time to act and turned to Jiang Chengxuan. Of course, Jiang Chengxuan replied without hesitation. Ha, let's go. The city lord laughed heartily, his expression turning serious as he harnessed his peak ascendant immortal power, stepping into the sky. Not wanting to be outdone, Jiang Chengxuan also summoned his celestial power, following closely behind to confront the three beast leaders head-on. Their arrival immediately drew the attention of the three beast leaders. The massive eyes of the beasts locked onto the two men, unleashing an invisible pressure. Unleash! With a shout, the city lord's expression turned grim. He summoned an immortal treasure that shone brightly in his hands, two long maces, one green and one red, both resembling translucent glass. Each mace contained the essence of stars and the cosmos. As soon as they appeared, the void trembled and cracks formed, indicating their immense weight. With the maces in hand, the city lord charged at the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear with unparalleled dominance. The two maces slashed through the air, gathering immense celestial power, and unleashed two chasms that cleaved through the heavens, suppressing everything in their path. The ferocity of this attack was astonishing, even causing Jiang Chengxuan to feel a sense of awe. This strike alone might be second only to a true immortal. The city lord of Twin Peaks City relied not on his family, but on his own strength to command the entire celestial city. Roar! As the two chasms appeared, their intense aura struck fear into the countless beasts outside the barrier, causing them to roar in terror. The three great beast immortals also shuddered, unleashing their celestial power in response. The Yuan Crystal Lizard Dragon let out a shrill cry, its crystalline scales flashing and pulsing with an intense heat that gathered in its mouth, forming a massive sphere of light that tore through the void. A blue breath shot out, piercing through thousands of miles and exploding toward Jiang Chengxuan and the city lord. The Black Wolf Bird King also let out a piercing screech, its black feathers glowing with celestial light. With a flap of its wings, countless black meteors shot out, leaving rifts in the void and headed straight for Jiang Chengxuan and the city lord. Facing the chasms created by the city lord, the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear's fur stood on end, and bolts of lightning coursed through its body, covering its claws with electricity. The eternal storm surrounding it intensified as it leaped forward, transforming into a thunderous star, crashing into the chasms with tremendous force. The simultaneous attack of the three great beast immortals was overwhelming, shattering the sky and earth, making the city walls of Twin Peaks City seem insignificant. Spatial Insight activate. Faced with the Yuan Crystal Lizard Dragon and the Black Wolf Bird King's assault, Jiang Chengxuan finally made his move. His immense celestial power erupted, shrouding the world. Although he was only at the initial stage of Ascendant Immortal, his strength rivaled, if not surpassed, the mid-stage. To everyone's astonishment, Jiang Chengxuan's power manifested as layers of spatial force. From his hands, waves of silver light swallowed the void, enveloping the attacks of the Yuan Crystal Lizard Dragon and the Black Wolf Bird King. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Amidst the spatial fluctuations, the three forces collided, causing intense spatial tremors. The powerful laws of the universe clashed and devoured each other, making the entire world tremble. Everything before their eyes blurred and split into countless afterimages, showcasing the dominance of these forces. Boom, boom, boom. At the same time, the extreme wind thunder bear crashed into the chasms created by the city lord. Amidst the deafening thunder, it roared continuously, wreaking havoc within the chasms. In mere moments, the chasms filled with celestial phenomena were overwhelmed by the violent lightning. The extreme wind thunder bear's body swelled, breaking through the chasms and shattering them. As the ascendant immortals clashed, the battlefield trembled. The immense power of the thousands of celestial beings soared, shattering the void repeatedly. When the storm subsided, everyone, humans and beasts alike, gazed in shock. Within the chaotic tempest, the five ascendant immortals stood solemnly, as if the earlier destruction had nothing to do with them. However, for Xianxia and the others, this skirmish was merely a test. They knew the true battle had yet to begin. City Lord of Twin Peaks, your actions are so aggressive, defying the heavens. Today, if you yield 1,000,000 miles of land, this battle can cease. In the silence, the extreme wind thunder bear spoke, its voice booming as it addressed the city lord. As one of the beast leaders, it possessed extraordinary wisdom and could speak human language. This statement revealed the ambition of the beast horde. One of their goals in launching this war was to seize the territory of Twin Peaks City. The city lord snorted coldly, responding without hesitation. You beasts have repeatedly invaded our lands. Our retaliation is justified. Your words are laughable, reverse heaven's might. To that I have only 4 words for you, dream on. The defenders of Twin Peaks City, inspired by the city lord's words, roared in unison, their voices shaking the heavens. HMPH, ignorant fools, when this city falls you will understand despair, the extreme wind thunder bear growled, summoning countless bolts of lightning as it glared down at the defenders. At this point, both sides knew that further words were futile and prepared for the true battle to commence. Beast army attack, tear apart the humans. After the strong rejection from the Twin Peaks City Lord, the beast leader, the extreme wind thunder bear, roared, shaking the heavens and earth, finally sounding the horn for the great battle to commence. Roared. Hiss hiss. Tens of thousands of terrifying beasts, from all directions, flapped their wings and lifted their mountain-like feet, launching a full-scale assault on Twin Peaks City. The emitted beastly aura completely shrouded the world outside the city walls. In the dark haze, only countless blood-red giant eyes flickered with a murderous intent. Fire at will, defend Twin Peaks City. Seeing this, the other generals who had accompanied the city lord and Xianxia immediately understood and commanded their respective armies to launch their attacks. An explosion of powerful immortal treasure energies, dazzling beams of light streaked across thousands of miles of sky, bombarding the beast army like a colorful tapestry against the oncoming black storm. Boom, boom, boom. Soon, at the junction of the city walls and around the celestial barrier, terrifying explosions continuously erupted, shaking the heavens and earth. Countless beasts either unleashed their bloodline abilities to counter the attacks from the defenders, or transformed their bodies into powerful forms to press forward with brute force. The battlefield turned into a chaotic dance of demons, with waves of energy bursts and different kinds of blood mist splattering everywhere, painting the iron-like city walls with eerie colors. Amid this chaos, both the beast army and the defending cultivators suffered heavy losses. Massive beast corpses fell outside the walls, only to be trampled into pulp by their comrades, while some defenders, caught off guard by the beast's special attacks, were grievously injured or incinerated to ashes. The battle instantly became intensely brutal, many times more so than before. With the intervention of the leaders on both sides, this fight was no longer a test, but a true life-and-death struggle. Suspended in the void, Xianxia and the Twin Peaks City Lord exchanged no words but simultaneously launched attacks on the 3 beast leaders at a certain moment. The City Lord, wielding his immortal mace, channeled his immense celestial power, manifesting his path. A deep, ancient abyss spread out from him, extending for thousands of miles. Countless beasts felt an invisible pressure weighing them down, reducing their strength by several levels. This was the City Lord's path of suppression. Meanwhile, Xianxia wasted no time, manifesting the laws of 5 elements, life and death, and reincarnation. He summoned the 5 elements universe diagram, transforming it into the most lethal Zhengjin void sword. Utilizing his mastery of space, he traversed the void like a ghost, evading even the perception of the beast leaders. However, the three beast leaders were not to be outdone. They roared into the void, unleashing their terrifying power, causing their forms to expand. The Yuan crystal lizard dragon's tail, the extreme wind thunder bear's massive claws, and the black wolf bird king's wings sliced through the void, crashing down like a collapsing sky. The power of these beasts was terrifying, with each move capable of shaking the earth and collapsing mountains. In the void, the five ascendant immortals clashed, generating horrifying spatial fluctuations, with the dispersed celestial energy forming storms that swept across thousands of miles. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan faced the Yuan crystal lizard dragon and the black wolf bird king. These two colossal beasts towered over him, their eyes gleaming with disdain. Clearly, the beast's strategy was to have the extreme wind thunder bear hold off the city lord, while the other two beasts swiftly killed Jiang Chengxuan. An ascendant immortal at the early stage dares to act recklessly, suppress him. The two beast immortals spoke in unison, their titanic bodies moving to crush Jiang Chengxuan. The black wolf bird king, despite its enormous size, moved with astonishing speed. In a flash, it was above Jiang Chengxuan, letting out a piercing cry. Its entire body glowed with celestial light as black winds swirled around it. Each feather emitted a terrifying aura. The bird's body spun in the void, and countless black feathers fell like a storm. Each feather created a black rift in space, forming a dense net around Jiang Chengxuan, leaving him no room to escape. Reacting quickly, Jiang Chengxuan unleashed the power of reincarnation from his body, extending towards the sky like a giant underworld river, manifesting scenes of countless beings, life and death. The swirling vortex of reincarnation sucked in all the feathers, clashing violently with the black wolf bird king's power. Boom, boom, boom. The two formidable forces collided, creating a massive turbulence of law, twisting the very fabric of the heavens and earth. Amid this chaos, Jiang Chengxuan did not pause. In a flash of silver light, he summoned three giant figures to his side. Wrapped in spatial power, light as a feather, yet brimming with eerie strength, the three space puppets moved under Jiang Chengxuan's control. The puppets transformed into mysterious spatial waves, merging into the void, launching an assault on the black wolf bird king. Despite their relatively weak power, their unpredictability and agility made even the black wolf bird king cautious. Roar! At this moment, the Yuan crystal lizard dragon seized the opportunity to strike. As Jiang Chengxuan summoned the puppets, countless dazzling crystal scales on its body suddenly expanded. With a thunderous roar, a strange wave erupted, sending waves of celestial light surging through the void. Crystal shards, layered like a wall of spears, advanced toward Jiang Chengxuan, shattering the void in their path with overwhelming force. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan's gaze turned cold. His overwhelming celestial energy erupted like a volcano, continuously pouring into the Zhengjin void sword in his hand. As the crystalline tide approached, Jiang Chengxuan slashed out with his sword, causing an explosion of boundless radiance. The power of the five elements merged into this attack, shrouding the entire celestial barrier outside in a kaleidoscope of colors. The sword's formidable power cleaved through everything before it. Boom, boom, boom. Amidst the thunderous roars, countless crystal scales shattered and scattered. Between Jiang Chengxuan and the Yuan crystal lizard dragon, a deep chasm was cleaved open, with the power of the five elements burning within it. How is this child's power so terrifying? I thought I had already overestimated him, but it seems I was still too short-sighted. In the chaotic battlefield atop Twin Peaks City's walls, the witnessing cultivators gasped in shock, their minds reeling. Especially those generals who had met Jiang Chengxuan during the earlier discussions were left in awe, their hearts trembling. They had thought that the war report had exaggerated Jiang Chengxuan's strength, but witnessing his true power, they realized he was far more monstrous than they had anticipated. Even the Twin Peaks City Lord and the extreme wind thunder bear, amidst their fierce battle, couldn't help but glance over. Ha ha ha, you beasts, how could you understand the prosperity of our human cultivators? Seeing Jiang Chengxuan's formidable power, the Twin Peaks City Lord felt a surge of reassurance, seizing the moment to taunt the extreme wind thunder bear. Hearing this, the extreme wind thunder bear's face twisted in rage, furiously yelling at the Yuan crystal lizard dragon and the black wolf bird king. You too, attack with full force. Can't you even handle a mere ascendant immortal at the early stage? This scolding made the Yuan crystal lizard dragon and the black wolf bird king snarl with both fear and fury. This exchange had already proven Jiang Chengxuan's strength, but as the extreme wind thunder bear said, they had no retreat in this battle. If they couldn't win even with a 2-on-1 advantage, they would become the laughingstock of the beast army. Damn human, you have angered me. The black wolf bird king's voice echoed with rage as it circled in the void. At this moment, it was still being harassed by the 3 space puppets, making it extremely irritable. These puppets, originating from ancient ruins, had the ability to merge seamlessly with space. Coupled with their near-perfect strength at the peak of the Transcendence realm, they were quite formidable. But before the puppets could cause further trouble, the enraged black wolf bird king forcefully struck out. This time, its monstrous body shifted with a burst of celestial light, transforming its form. Countless black feathers clung tightly to its body, forming a streamlined black feather armor. The wolf body swelled further, landing on the ground, transforming into a colossal black wolf king. Facing the space puppets now, its eyes gleamed with red fury. With a flash of cold light, its terrifying wolf claws ripped through the air, tearing into the space puppets. The 3 space puppets were thrown out of space consecutively. In this form, the black wolf bird king clearly possessed even greater close combat abilities. Return. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan had no choice but to recall the space puppets. Now, he was left to face the 2 great beast leaders alone. In the face of true strength, these external aids are useless. Die, human. In a fit of fury, the Yuan crystal lizard dragon and black wolf bird king roared, launching another assault on Jiang Chengxuan. This time, they opted for close combat, intending to crush Jiang Chengxuan with their formidable beast bodies. Their strategy showed their intelligence, as they aimed to use their physical superiority to overpower Jiang Chengxuan. In a whirlwind, the 2 colossal beasts charged at Jiang Chengxuan. A long tail covered in crystalline scales and 2 enormous black claws closed in on him simultaneously. Jiang Chengxuan's expression turned grave, reacting swiftly. Spatial True Insight. With a low roar, he activated the Spatial True Insight, wrapping himself in silver spatial power. In an instant, he exploded with speed, leaving silver afterimages as he evaded their attacks. Yet the 2 beast leaders were relentless, using other body parts to continue their assault, trying to tear Jiang Chengxuan apart. The terrifying power of the 2 ascendant immortal beasts was overwhelming. Even Jiang Chengxuan couldn't take their hits head-on and had to keep dodging. Boom, 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 boom. Under their relentless attacks, thunderous explosions erupted in the void, echoing ceaselessly. The 2 beasts seemed to be performing a deadly dance in the sky, their expressions fierce, each move lethal as they relentlessly tried to kill Jiang Chengxuan. Damn it, these beasts. Even brutes are resorting to unfair numbers. Their power is overwhelming. No human cultivator can withstand this. The generals atop Twin Peaks City watched with bated breath, worried for Jiang Chengxuan as they fought their own battles against the swarming beast army. On the celestial barrier, the colors were fading as the defending cultivators fought desperately to prevent the beasts from breaching it, striving for maximum damage at the cost of increasing their own casualties. Across the battlefield, the clashing sounds of celestial treasures and beast claws mixed with the shouts and roars of humans and beasts, painting a scene of bloody carnage. Buzz. Amidst the chaos, Jiang Chengxuan finally found an opening, summoning the thick earth-wild sky halberd, striking at the Yuan crystal lizard dragon's tail. A strange wave rippled through the air as the tail's crystal scales shattered, causing the beast to roar in pain. Seizing this moment, the black wolf bird king's claws launched a sinister attack from behind, aiming for Jiang Chengxuan's back. But Jiang Chengxuan had anticipated this. Using the spatial true insight, he locked the surrounding space, connecting himself with the spatial plane. With the halberd in hand, now light as a feather, Jiang Chengxuan blocked the incoming claw strike. Buzz. The void trembled as the powerful forces collided violently. This time, facing the immense pressure from the beast leader's power, Jiang Chengxuan did not retreat a single step. Instead, he opted to meet force with force, aiming to intercept the attack head-on. Seeing this, even the black wolf bird king couldn't help but sneer, as if it already envisioned Jiang Chengxuan being severely injured by its strike. Numerous Twin Peaks City cultivators witnessing this were equally shaken, their hearts chilling as if plunged into an icy abyss. As experienced warriors against beasts, they knew the greatest taboo was to engage in a direct contest of strength with a beast. It was akin to challenging the beast at its strongest point with one's own weakness, a surefire path to a gruesome death, torn to pieces by the beast. Jiang Chengxuan's actions thus left them all in stunned disbelief. Boom! In this tense atmosphere, the black wolf bird king's dark claws, carrying the power to move mountains and seas, finally collided with Jiang Chengxuan's thick earth-wild sky halberd. The impact produced a sound like metal clashing as their terrifying forces clashed, causing a massive shockwave. Yet the scene that unfolded before everyone's eyes was unbelievable. In the void, Jiang Chengxuan, wielding his halberd, skillfully blocked the immense claw. He stood unmovable like a celestial body, resisting the impact. How is this possible? Am I seeing things? A human body withstanding a beast's power. This is monstrous. Countless Twin Peaks city cultivators gulped, dumbfounded by the sight. Even amidst the urgent battle, their eyes couldn't look away. The Black Wolf Bird King, its fantasies interrupted by this unexpected turn, glared at the seemingly insignificant figure with a ferocious expression. Their gazes locked in the void, and the Black Wolf Bird King swelled its body, unleashing more terrifying power to press forward. However, no matter how much power it exerted, Jiang Chengxuan remained unmoved. The surrounding void began to warp and fluctuate. The Black Wolf Bird King felt as if it were facing not a man, but an immovable sky. Unbeknownst to the beast, Jiang Chengxuan had merged with the entire heavens using the spatial true insight. Damn it, the Black Wolf Bird King cursed inwardly. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan suddenly counterattacked. Infusing the thick earth-wild sky halberd with celestial power, the halberd extended to 100 feet, dominating the void. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes gleamed with silver light as he swung the halberd, creating afterimages that crashed down on the Black Wolf Bird King. This strike contained the power of countless stars, bearing down like a collapsing sky. Even the Black Wolf Bird King didn't dare underestimate it, retreating and raising its massive head. Its red eyes spewed a dark breath to counter the attack. Boom! In an instant, the collision of these two forces created a series of storms. The residual celestial power rippled across the battlefield. Despite the Black Wolf Bird King's counter, Jiang Chengxuan did not retreat. He continuously manifested his Tao powers, channeling them into the halberd, each element, the chaos of reincarnation, the melancholy of life and death, blazing with terrifying might. Under this relentless barrage, the Black Wolf Bird King's dark breath split like a river, scattering into the distant sky. Jiang Chengxuan advanced steadily, cutting through the beast's defenses inch by inch. Boom! Amidst the amazement of the cultivators and the terror of the beasts, Jiang Chengxuan broke through the Black Wolf Bird King's defenses. The halberd struck the beast's head with devastating force, causing the ground to crack. The combined power of the 5 elements, reincarnation and life and death exploded, creating a chaotic energy vortex that engulfed the battlefield. The onlookers, both human and beast, were left breathless and wide-eyed. From the chaotic storm, a massive black shadow staggered back, battered and beaten. The Black Wolf Bird King, its enormous eyes burning with fury and dread, hovered in the sky, its head marked by a grievous wound leaking blood and Tao energy. This scene left countless cultivators holding their breath, eyes wide in disbelief. In this direct confrontation, Jiang Chengxuan not only survived but also wounded the Black Wolf Bird King, an unbelievable feat. As the dust settled, Jiang Chengxuan's figure emerged in the admiring gazes of the crowd. Holding his halberd, he stood with an air of confidence, his robe pristine and unruffled. Clearly, this outcome was within his expectations. At this moment, the entire battlefield fell into a brief silence. The injured Yuanjing Zilong and Black Wolf Bird King, encircling Jiang Chengxuan from both sides, did not dare to advance. They only shot him vicious glares. Boom, boom. Meanwhile, on the other battlefield, the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear and the Twin Peaks City Lord had reached the climax of their battle. Their powers continuously erupted in the void, causing waves of destruction. The Extreme Wind Thunder Bear's massive beast form had completely transformed into lightning, roaring and burning everything like a thunder-wrapped celestial mountain. At the same time, the Twin Peaks City Lord also unleashed his full strength. In addition to the pair of celestial hammers, 2 more celestial treasures appeared around him, one a small round mirror and the other an ancient, weathered pagoda. The mirror, a defensive celestial treasure, continuously reflected and neutralized the lightning attacks from the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear. The pagoda, an auxiliary celestial treasure, worked in tandem with the City Lord's suppression Tao power, constantly suppressing the extreme wind thunder bear, hindering its ability to fully unleash its storm power. Thus, the battle favored the Twin Peaks City Lord. His cultivation was at the peak of the Ascendant Realm, combined with the city's profound heritage, making this result not surprising. Damn it, Yuanjing Xilong, Black Wolf Bird King, you two fools. If you don't take down that cultivator, you will be the ones to blame for the army's defeat. In his predicament, seeing Jiang Chengxuan still standing tall and even gaining the upper hand, the extreme wind thunder bear couldn't bear it anymore and roared in anger. This roar echoed in the ears of Yuanjing Xilong and the Black Wolf Bird King, making their faces turn ashen and extremely grim. They wanted to retort angrily, but with the extreme wind thunder bear as the strongest and appointed leader of the beast army, they could only swallow their rage and direct their fury towards Jiang Chengxuan. Damn you, brat, you will die today. Attack! In their roars, terrifying power surged once again. This time, the two beast leaders attacked almost simultaneously. The Black Wolf Bird King transformed into a streak of black lightning, descending from the sky, while Yuanjing Xilong, with its crystalline scales radiating, burrowed into the ground to attack from below, trapping Jiang Chengxuan in a pincer attack. Boom, boom! With the ground splitting apart, Yuanjing Xilong's massive form burst out, perfectly coordinating with the lightning from the Black Wolf Bird King above, closing in instantly. The huge, menacing jaws gaped like an abyss, ready to swallow Jiang Chengxuan, while the swift, dark claws tore through the void, ripping the sky apart. At this stage of the battle, there was no room for holding back. Each strike was made with full force. The terrifying killing intent solidified, flooding in like a tide. Jiang Chengxuan's expression grew solemn. He activated the power of the three Dao laws to their limits, utilizing the spatial true understanding to meet the assaults of Yuanjing Xilong and the Black Wolf Bird King head-on. In an instant, the figures of one man and two beasts were completely entangled, their silhouettes indistinguishable amidst the chaotic remnants, with terrifying power continuously exploding, shaking the heavens and earth. Even as Yuanjing Xilong's crystals shattered and scattered into the void, and the Black Wolf Bird King's feathers were severed, drifting and splattering, neither of the beast leaders retreated. They bore their injuries, intent on killing Jiang Chengxuan with brutal determination. This battle entered its most savage phase. Stimulated by the great power's ferocious fight, the broader battlefield also turned into a meat grinder, with the fighting growing fiercer. Giant beast silhouettes roared and fell, crashing onto the barrier. Human cultivators were torn apart by the beasts, swallowed on the spot. The second layer of the Twin Peaks city's barrier continually released power, maintaining the gradually dimming protective screen. Eventually, after an indeterminate time, this most brutal wave of the siege slowly began to wane. At this point, beast corpses littered the walls, evidence of the bloodshed and intensity of this battle. Meanwhile, in the battle of the Ascendant Realm, the struggle between Jiang Chengxuan and the Twin Peaks City Lord against the beast leaders was also drawing to a close. The figures of the two men were weary, their clothes tattered, the brilliance of their armor dimmed. One of the Twin Peaks City Lord's celestial treasures had even been shattered by the extreme wind thunder bear. But opposite them, the beasts fared worse. The extreme wind thunder bear, having received no support, was consistently suppressed by the City Lord. Its massive body was covered in strange beast blood, with hideous wounds and charred patches all over. Even its perpetual storm showed signs of subsiding, indicating its exhaustion. Yuanjing Xilong's crystalline scales were shattered, leaving only a thin, cracked layer. The Black Wolf Bird King, missing a layer of feathers, appeared shrunken and no longer imposing, its body riddled with wounds from Jiang Chengxuan's attacks. The air was thick with the stench of blood, as the exhausted Jiang Chengxuan and the Twin Peaks City Lord stood side by side, coldly eyeing the beast leaders. Their gazes met in the ravaged battlefield, emotions of anger and murderous intent intertwining. Roar! Finally, with a mighty roar from the extreme wind thunder bear, the battle came to an end. Hearing its howl, the beast army began to retreat in response, their massive, bloodied bodies resembling crimson mountains. In the exhausted eyes of the Twin Peaks City's defenders, the beasts retreated like a receding tide. Jiang Chengxuan and the Twin Peaks City Lord refrained from pursuing. Although the three great beast leaders were heavily injured, they were not defenseless. The priority was to defend the city, and chasing a defeated enemy without knowing their full strength was too risky. We won, we held the city. The beast army is retreating. The beast army is retreating. Long live the City Lord. Long live immortal Jiang. The defenders, their blood-stained faces twisted with relief and joy, cheered wildly for the city lord and Jiang Chengxuan. Roars roar! As the extreme wind thunder bear led the retreating Yuanjing Xilong and Black Wolf Bird King, the Twin Peaks City Lord and Jiang Chengxuan exchanged glances, smiling with relief. This victory would likely bring a long period of peace to the war zone. With proper planning, this beast uprising might even be completely quelled. Woo. The battlefield outside Twin Peaks City, littered with carnage, echoed with a somber horn that reverberated through the void. While the retreat of the beast army brought joy and excitement to everyone, once the massive silhouettes of the beasts faded into the horizon, a stark reality set in for the countless cultivators of Twin Peaks City. They now had to face their own losses and the gruesome scene of the devastated battlefield. Under strict discipline, the cultivators, though momentarily numb, began the arduous task of cleaning up the battlefield, dragging their exhausted bodies into action. The corpses of the fallen beasts were meticulously dismembered and converted into resources, transported to the rear lines. The remains of the fallen cultivators, however, were preserved with care, sent back for a proper burial. Friends and family of the deceased escorted the remains, their faces etched with sorrow, ensuring they were honored until their final resting place. The battlefield, larger than several planes combined, required immense effort to clear, even with the aid of celestial powers. However, the victory had boosted morale, and everything was proceeding in an orderly fashion. In the most harrowing section of the battlefield, the city lord and Jiang Chengxuan were also engaged in similar tasks. Although the three beast leaders were not slain, their battles had left valuable materials scattered. Fragments of the Yuanjing Xilong's shattered crystal scales and its blood were immensely precious. The Black Wolf Bird King's feathers, blood, and fur were also treasures not to be wasted. Silently, Jiang Chengxuan roamed the battlefield, collecting these materials while simultaneously recovering his strength. Moreover, the shattered void and the damaged spaces needed to be actively repaired. Many of these voids were created by Jiang Chengxuan himself during the battle. Eventually, after much time, the aftermath of the battle was finally settled. Soon, a celebration for the victory over the enemy commenced in the camp of the 8th War Zone of Twin Peaks City. Everyone, we have repelled another wave of beasts and achieved a great victory. Each one of you deserves credit. Tonight, let us drink freely. Under the city lord's hearty declaration, everyone beamed with joy, congratulating each other as the banquet commenced. Even Jiang Chengxuan joined in. The celestial wine they drank was not only for celebration, but also had healing properties, aiding their recovery after the fierce battle. Despite sustaining some injuries from battling two beast leaders, Jiang Chengxuan felt a sense of comfort as the celestial wine flowed down his throat. Taoist Jiang, I toast to you. Your performance on the battlefield was truly unmatched. I too toast to Taoist Jiang. Your divine might was evident to all of us. One after another, the other generals approached Jiang Chengxuan, raising their cups in admiration. Since the battle a few days ago, Jiang Chengxuan's reputation had spread throughout Twin Peaks City, earning him significant acclaim. Haha, I am humbled, Jiang Chengxuan responded with a helpless smile, drinking each toast, which elicited hearty cheers from everyone. Clearly, their respect for Jiang Chengxuan was genuine. Even the city lord couldn't help but join the fun, raising his cup to Jiang Chengxuan and saying, "Young friend Jiang, you are truly extraordinary. This victory is greatly due to your efforts. I toast to you." Jiang Chengxuan, even more helpless now, shook his head and replied, "City lord, your supreme power suppressed the beast general. I merely added a little help. Your praise is too much." Everyone laughed heartily at this. Jiang Chengxuan's modesty paired with his formidable strength earned the veteran warrior's deep respect. However, the celebration was short-lived. Before everyone could fully indulge, it ended abruptly. The city was still at war, and any delay due to over-celebration could be catastrophic. Thus, the banquet concluded hastily. All the generals switched from joyous to serious, ready to resume their duties. As cultivators, the celestial wine couldn't truly inebriate them. Once again, the elderly figure in the green robe appeared, updating everyone on the current situation of Twin Peaks City. Since Taoist Jiang's plan was implemented, all war zones have seen significant improvements. Using counter-strategies, previously challenging zones have now stabilized. The 3rd and 6th war zones received timely support, with no unexpected incidents. As detailed information about the battlefield was conveyed, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Their gazes turned to Jiang Chengxuan, filled with undisguised admiration. There was no denying that the precarious situation of Twin Peaks City had reversed solely due to Jiang Chengxuan's contributions, his strategic planning and formidable strength at precisely the right moments. Their plans were effective and solidified the situation. Ha, good. Young friend Jiang, it looks like we need to record another merit for you. Haha. Under the influence of such triumphant news, the city lord of Twin Peaks City continuously nodded and praised Jiang Chengxuan. For him, Jiang Chengxuan truly appeared like a blessing. His son, Shen Feng, had returned safely because of Jiang Chengxuan, and even the two elders Li and Tang were the same. If they had lost these forces before this great battle, the situation would have been far more dire. Not to mention, the role Jiang Chengxuan played in the battlefield practically decided the entire situation. Amid such circumstances, time flew by swiftly. Although the war between Twin Peaks City and the Beast Army did not end directly, the increasingly stable battle situation continued to improve steadily. After enduring the most challenging initial phase, the defending forces of Twin Peaks City accumulated battle experience, continuously redeploying cultivators and shifting defensive lines. In the subsequent waves of conflict, they almost always held the upper hand. Gradually, the Beast Army suffered more significant losses, and their leaders were increasingly frustrated, retreating step by step. During this period, Jiang Chengxuan even requested to launch a surprise attack on the Beast Army. In the third war zone, he displayed overwhelming power, directly slaying a beast leader of the immortal ascension stage. On that day, as the colossal beast fell, its blood formed a sea flooding outside Twin Peaks City and terrifying countless beasts. That battle infuriated the Beast Army, driving them nearly to madness, but ultimately, it solidified Twin Peaks City's unassailable position. Jiang Chengxuan's name spread throughout Twin Peaks City over the years, becoming a well-known and respected figure. However, amidst the general contentment and peace, Jiang Chengxuan remained vigilant. Despite the defenders of Twin Peaks City gaining the upper hand, the task from the system remained uncompleted. This fact forced Jiang Chengxuan to consider that there might still be some factor in the Beast Army capable of influencing the entire battle. Although he couldn't disclose the system's existence or discuss it with anyone in Twin Peaks City, he continued to wait quietly amidst the celebrations. Finally, his anticipated change indeed occurred. One day, beyond the battlefield of the 8th War Zone, in the void above, the Beast Army gathered once more, eager to besiege the city. Black clouds loomed over the city like a crushing force, and the gleam of their armor shone like golden scales in the sunlight. On the city wall of Twin Peaks City, the city lord and Jiang Chengxuan stood side by side. Behind them, countless cultivators of Twin Peaks City were ready for battle, determined to fight to the death. In the distance, the number of beast soldiers had significantly decreased compared to the initial wave. However, the dense, ominous aura that shrouded the void above them was thicker and more sinister than ever. Today's beast army seems unusual, Jiang Chengxuan noted, aware that something significant was about to occur, and subtly reminded the city lord. Indeed, that aura is quite unsettling, the city lord replied, his expression grave. He had long suspected the beast army harbored some secret weapon. The very catalyst for this war had been that mysterious presence. Despite his century-long investigation, he had never uncovered its true nature. Now, he sensed it was about to reveal itself. Human cultivators, if you abandon the city and leave today, you may still save your lives. The familiar voice of the earth, wind, thunder bear echoed from the beast army, issuing a challenge once more. In response, the city lord channeled his spiritual power and soared into the sky, declaring loudly, "Defeated general, how dare you offer terms? What a ridiculous joke." However, this time the earth, wind, thunder bear did not rage but instead roared coldly, "Today marks your end. Show yourself, ancient dragon lord." At its call, the final trump card of the beast army finally emerged. In an instant, a fierce wind erupted across the battlefield. Behind the beast army, the swirling beastly aura rose, becoming almost tangible. A massive storm expanded from that spot, enveloping the entire sky within a few breaths. Rumble! Within the storm, a terrifying presence ascended, causing even the void to tremble and crack. Even the second barrier of Twin Peaks City rippled under its influence, like a lake disturbed by the wind. A true immortal. At this realization, Jiang Chengxuan and the city lord finally understood the beast army's ultimate card. This boundless aura undeniably belonged to a true immortal, and not just at the initial stage. Jiang Chengxuan could sense that this power surpassed even the Phoenix Immortal and the Golden Snake Immortal he had encountered before. A true immortal-level beast. For a moment, both Jiang Chengxuan and the city lord were utterly shocked. Roar! Before they could react further, a thunderous roar that shook all of Twin Peaks City resounded. The true immortal-level beast tore through the void, emerging from the spatial rift. Its form was so colossal it defied perception. Its black wings spread wide, casting a shadow that covered half of Twin Peaks City. An ancient dragon. Seeing its visage, Jiang Chengxuan murmured, finally understanding the mystery. The roaring entity in the void was indeed an ancient black dragon. According to records from the Dong Immortal, Jiang Chengxuan knew about the ancient dragon race. They were spiritual beings born from the heavens and earth during the ancient era of the immortal realm, possessing true immortal-level strength from birth. They needed no cultivation, relying solely on their bloodline to grow and eventually reach the heavenly immortal realm. Many of today's beasts carried the blood of ancient dragons, as they had been among the rulers of the immortal realm in ancient times. The presence of an ancient dragon meant a terrifying power beyond the ordinary true immortal. An ancient dragon was hatched in the Great Thousand Mountains, the city lord exclaimed, revealing his guess. The entire beast uprising in the Great Thousand Mountains had been driven by the presence of this ancient dragon. Many powerful beasts carried the ancient dragon's blood, which explained their ambition towards Twin Peaks City. What is this aura? Such a terrifying beast, its mere presence is making the barrier tremble. Damn it, is it truly a true immortal? Faced with the terrifying ancient dragon, the cultivators of Twin Peaks City were paralyzed with fear, their eyes wide with disbelief. They never imagined that just as they were about to suppress the beast uprising, such a formidable entity would appear. Its strength alone could overturn all their accumulated advantages and single-handedly challenge the entire city. In the midst of the crowd's horror, the dragon's eyes, like golden suns, blazed as it gazed down upon everything below. Humans, submit to the ancient dragon. Before the crowd could react further, the black dragon roared in a deafening declaration and launched its attack. Outside the city walls of Twin Peaks City, at the edge of the second sky barrier, everyone witnessed a pitch-black sky sweeping in at an alarming speed. The ancient black dragon's might was equivalent to that of an army of 1,000,000 beasts. Its wings caused the very void to tremble, and the resulting storm made the city walls of Twin Peaks City quake. The true power of a true immortal was evident in that instant. Everyone defending Twin Peaks City felt their hearts shatter, gasping in horror as the sensation of impending death closed in with the terrifying scene before them. Activate the Grand Array. In desperation, the city lord of Twin Peaks City reacted swiftly, unleashing his immortal power and shouting to everyone. At his command, the cultivators responsible for controlling the array awoke from their daze, desperately pouring their immortal power into the array. Buzz. This time, the sky array was activated to its maximum capacity. The second sky barrier of Twin Peaks City suddenly radiated a brilliant glow, emitting waves of extraordinary light that descended upon the city. The dazzling streams of light seemed to pour from the heavens, enveloping the city walls in a grand, majestic barrier that suppressed the entire area. The sheer energy was far greater than any previous battle. Under this powerful sky barrier, everyone felt a sense of relief, albeit temporary. However, their relief was short-lived. In the next instant, the true immortal ancient dragon arrived, bringing a violent storm that struck the sky barrier with immense force. Boom! Immediately, overwhelming immortal power exploded. The collision of two peak-level forces caused a tremendous shockwave. The void fractured in an instant, and the surrounding area was ripped apart by the spatial turbulence and energy overflow, even lifting the ground. Despite the sky barrier, the impact distorted the barrier itself. This single strike was more powerful than any attack Jiang Chengxuan had ever witnessed. So this is the power of a true immortal ancient dragon. Even Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but be amazed, murmuring to himself. Such power far surpassed the Phoenix Immortal and the Golden Snake Immortal he had encountered before. As the chaotic immortal energy subsided slightly, Jiang Chengxuan saw cracks beginning to form on the sky barrier. Roar! In the next moment, Amidst the swirling black wind and the terrified gazes of the onlookers, the true immortal ancient dragon's fiery red eyes scanned the area arrogantly. Without giving the defenders of Twin Peaks City any respite, it roared and swung its mountain-sized tail at the city walls. Damn it, everyone attack! The city lord of Twin Peaks City could no longer stand by. With a loud roar, he launched an attack on the true immortal ancient dragon. Simultaneously, Jiang Chengxuan saw something strange within the city lord's wide sleeves, an artifact that he crushed, releasing an invisible wave. But there was no time to ponder this further. Following the city lord's lead, Jiang Chengxuan summoned his immortal power, his eyes sharp with determination. The five elements, reincarnation and life and death Tao laws manifested as he launched a fierce attack on the true immortal ancient dragon. In that moment, no one hesitated. Everyone knew the sky barrier could not withstand the ancient dragon's assault for long. Before it shattered, they had to seize the opportunity to attack. With a roar, the heavy horns of Twin Peaks City sounded again. All the cultivators, their eyes red with fervor, unleashed their full power, striking at the black sky above with unwavering resolve. Boom, 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 boom. Amidst the deafening explosions and tremors, countless torrents of immortal power surged from Twin Peaks City, shooting skyward in a dazzling display. The sudden ferocity of this battle marked the beginning of a brutal confrontation. The true immortal ancient dragon, however, seemed unfazed by the onslaught. It continued its assault, swinging its colossal tail with unstoppable force. Boom! In the shocked eyes of everyone, the dark tail, like a chasm, cut through the void, crushing the incoming attacks. The terrifying energy contained within the tail obliterated the myriad streams of light, erasing them instantly. Even the combined attacks of Jiang Chengxuan and the city lord of Twin Peaks City didn't last long. Within a few breaths, their efforts were forcibly dissipated. The overwhelming flood of immortal energy swept across the battlefield, forcing everyone back and leaving them in shock. Boom! The ancient dragon's tail did not stop. It continued its trajectory, striking the sky barrier once more with a thunderous boom. Buzz crash. This time, not just Jiang Chengxuan, but everyone saw the sky barrier on the brink of collapse. The barrier shuddered violently, dimming significantly, and countless fragments of light fell from the sky, remnants of the shattered barrier. Seeing this, everyone's hearts filled with dread, their eyes wide with shock. Despite gathering all their strength, they couldn't stop the true immortal ancient dragon for even a moment. Even Jiang Chengxuan remained silent. Although he had anticipated the beasts having a trump card, he hadn't expected it to be this terrifying. Beast army attack. At this moment, the true immortal ancient dragon roared, shaking the heavens and the earth, issuing a command that plunged everyone into despair. Following its command, countless frenzied beasts went wild, their ferocious figures as terrifying as mountains, forming a wave that darkened the skies as they charged forward. Under the dominance of the true immortal black dragon, they saw hope, their killing intent and ferocity fully aroused. The extreme wind thunder bear, black wolf bird king, and pristine crystal dragon all returned, their eyes cruel as they looked across the void at Jiang Chengxuan and the twin sky city lord. Seeing this, the two exchanged glances, their eyes showing resolve, knowing this battle had no retreat. Thus, the twin sky city lord and Jiang Chengxuan unleashed all their power, forcibly breaking through the true, immortal black dragon's suppression. One wielded celestial maces, the other held the metal-elemental void sword, both charging toward the approaching beast army, trying to halt their advance. The sky-splitting abyss materialized out of nowhere, the shattering void canopy also tilted over, the two formidable attacks combined, almost comparable to true immortal power. However, what they faced was a genuine true, immortal ancient dragon. In the face of their struggle, the true immortal ancient dragon roared, its mouth continuously gathering terrifying celestial energy. The next moment, it spat out an incredibly domineering breath toward Jiang Chengxuan and the twin sky city lord. The breath contained space-melting power, spreading nine-colored celestial light, instantly suppressing their combined strike. The deep abyss and eerie silver canopy were both mercilessly pierced, bursting forth with light that illuminated the entire sky. Feeling the intense backlash from their attack, Jiang Chengxuan and the twin sky city lord both shuddered, retreating 2 steps. Ha, humans, today you all die. Meanwhile, the 3 leading beast commanders, taking advantage of this moment, led the beast army in a charge. The shadows blotted out the sun, instantly reaching the city walls, striking at the nearly shattered barrier. This scene plunged countless Twin Sky City cultivators into despair, unsure how to respond to such a desperate situation. With the army pressing in, a true immortal-level enemy above, and the city's grand formation on the brink of collapse, it was a situation of certain death. Just as everyone was on the brink of hopelessness, seeing the city's defenses about to shatter, a terrifying aura erupted within Twin Sky City, halting everything at the last moment. An ancient dragon, mere beasts dare to invade my Twin Sky City. With a powerful shout, an overwhelming power beyond the celestial level manifested. A giant hand formed entirely of extreme light, crushing down upon the beast army. The hand's terrifying might seem to envelop the second barrier of Twin Sky City, collapsing upon it. In an instant, even the true immortal black dragon couldn't react in time, missing the chance to intercept the attack that struck the beast army. In the midst of this, the three previously arrogant beast commanders were filled with terror, their frenzied expressions halted. Boom! To everyone's shock, the hand fell, and the once formidable beast army was suddenly silenced. Countless massive figures exploded, various beast limbs flying, and a huge blood wave was squeezed out, surging hundreds of feet. A true immortal, there's a true immortal here. Seeing this, the Twin Sky City cultivators were wide-eyed with surprise, screaming internally. Only the Twin Sky City Lord showed no surprise. Looking delighted, he bowed towards the descending figure and said, "Ancestor, you have arrived." Hearing this, everyone was jolted awake, quickly looking over. They saw an elder in black robes, with white hair and a solemn face, exuding an authoritative presence. Only then did Xianxia realize what the Twin Sky City Lord had used earlier in his sleeve. It was a communication device to call for aid from his family's ancestors. The elder gave a slight nod to the Twin Sky City Lord's salute, then looked gravely at the true immortal black dragon. There, the true immortal black dragon also stared back with a hostile gaze. The battlefield fell into an eerie silence, the growing tension making everyone's limbs cold. Although the elder's arrival was imposing, the true immortal black dragon showed no intention of retreating. As a newly mature being, it feared no true immortal elder. At a certain moment, the battle was reignited. In an instant, when everyone was caught off guard, the two true immortal beings attacked simultaneously. On Twin Sky City, Xianxia felt the strange fluctuations shaking the battlefield, and looking up, saw the Shen family elder already in the sky. Law of heaven and earth. With a shout, immense celestial power erupted from the Shen family elder, shaking the surrounding void. Terrifying Taoist energy transformed into a colossal figure, striking towards the true immortal black dragon like a collapsing sky. In response, the true immortal black dragon unfurled its massive wings, its sky-covering figure counterattacking without hesitation. Boom! The collision of the two true immortals released waves of destruction, sweeping across Twin Sky City, scattering fragments of the barrier. And this was only the beginning. With this clash as the signal, the two explosive true immortals began a fierce battle. Terrifying waves of destruction continuously erupted from the sky, causing stars to fall and space to collapse. This was a true pinnacle battle. Even the barrier couldn't withstand the aftermath of their fight for long, shattering completely. Seeing this, the Twin Sky City cultivators were all trembling, watching the sky with hearts pounding as if about to leap out of their chests. "Destroy the beast army, charge with me." At this moment, the Twin Sky City Lord suddenly shouted, directing his forces at the beast army just ravaged by their ancestor. With these words, his figure shot out like an arrow, celestial maces in hand, charging into the chaotic beast army. Seeing this, Xianxia understood his intention. Following closely with the Twin Sky City cultivators, they charged out of the city walls. Tens of thousands of cultivators, like meteors, launched a determined assault. Roar! Seeing this, the extreme wind thunder bear, pristine crystal dragon, and black wolf bird king roared in intimidation. However, the cultivators, without fear, formed a powerful assault, reaching the enemy in an instant. With both true immortals occupied, it was a golden opportunity to decimate the beast army. Boom! In the blood-soaked battlefield, the battle erupted fully. As the two armies clashed, Xianxia found his old adversaries, the pristine crystal dragon and black wolf bird king. Without any words, All eyes were red with rage as they charged at each other. 5 elements Tao, life and death Tao, and reincarnation Tao manifested in the void, as Jiang Chengxuan once again clashed with the two beast commanders. This time it was a true life and death struggle, with both sides revealing their final cards, leaving no room for retreat. Outside Twin Sky City, an incredibly fierce battle erupted instantly, plunging into the most brutal phase. Every moment, countless beings perished. Beast carcasses collapsed with earth-shaking force, and cultivators exploded, leaving no remains. Celestial energy and beastly force unleashed without restraint, tearing everything apart. Space roared and the void wailed, accompanied by the roars of humans and beasts. Blood waves surged continuously, engulfing everything. In the void, Twin Sky City cultivators wielded celestial treasures, filled with battle spirit, unleashing every attack with all their might. Facing them, the beast army fought relentlessly, waving their massive bodies with a do-or-die determination. This battle was the most brutal Jiang Chengxuan had seen since entering the immortal domain. With no retreat, everyone's bloodlust was pushed to the peak, reaching a state of madness. At this moment, he too threw himself into the slaughter without hesitation. He pushed the 5 elements Tao, life and death Tao, and reincarnation Tao to the extreme, creating terrifying phenomena in the void, unleashing immense power to suppress the beasts. Opposing him were the pristine crystal dragon and the black wolf bird king, both fully aware of Jiang Chengxuan's strength. They fought back with all their might but with trepidation, only daring to skirmish without risking their lives. In their exchanges, Jiang Chengxuan always had the upper hand, pressing them constantly. Adding to the advantage was the earlier suppression of the beast army by the Shen family ancestor, leading to a favorable situation for the human forces. Whether it was Jiang Chengxuan, the Twin Sky City Lord, or the other top combatants, human cultivators consistently suppressed the beast army on all fronts. However, no one felt joy. Everyone's eyes occasionally glanced at the highest battlefield, sensing the terrifying clashes in the universe. They all knew that the outcome of this battle hinged on the duel between the two true immortals. Unless the Shen family ancestor could suppress the true immortal ancient dragon, even if they killed all the beasts, Twin Sky City would still face destruction. Time mercilessly passed in this cruel battle. As the forces of heaven and earth grew increasingly violent, the battle neared its conclusion after an unknown duration. On the battlefield outside Twin Sky City, the once rampant beast army was reduced to a few thousand figures. In front of Jiang Chengxuan, the pristine crystal dragon lay as a mountain of corpses. The black wolf bird king had lost an arm, looking extremely ragged. Even the extreme wind thunder bear, under the relentless assault of the Twin Sky City Lord, was nearly shattered, its body blood-soaked and unrecognizable. The battlefield was a gruesome carpet of bones and flesh, with violent energy currents and howling winds. Clearly, after endless fighting and immense sacrifice, the forces of Twin Sky City had won this battle. At this moment, the remaining beasts were filled with terror or madness, trapped by human cultivators, awaiting death. Yet before anyone could rejoice, the Twin Sky City Lord and Jiang Chengxuan exchanged glances, both looking up at the starry sky. Boom! With a tremendous roar, the cosmic battle finally revealed its outcome. In an instant, the sky was torn apart, a vast chasm opening above, and 2 figures emerged, carrying terrifying power that shook the heavens and earth. Everyone's attention was drawn to the scene, even the beasts trapped in death's grasp. But as Jiang Chengxuan and the other Twin Sky City cultivators discerned the situation, their hearts sank into an icy abyss. In the sky, the colossal body of the ancient true dragon was riddled with injuries. The dominant Taoist energy of a true immortal lingered on its wounds, glaringly visible. Its once hard dragon scales were dented and horrifyingly damaged. Yet the true immortal ancient dragon's aura remained largely undiminished. In contrast, the Shen family ancestor's condition was far worse. His celestial treasures were shattered, and his once regal robes were tattered and scorched. More critically, his aura had dimmed, and his celestial energy was exhausted. Clearly, the ancient black dragon had gained the upper hand in this true immortal duel. Ha, the might of the black dragon, kill the humans. Seeing this, the heavily injured extreme wind thunder bear roared, seeing a glimmer of hope. No one refuted it. Their spirits were already gripped by the true immortal clash. Boom! Under Jiang Chengxuan and the others' gaze, the battle between the two true immortals continued. Terrifying energy erupted, tearing vast spaces apart and shattering countless extraterrestrial stars. However, in this exchange, the Shen family ancestor was increasingly on the defensive, repeatedly suppressed by the true immortal ancient dragon, even vomiting blood and looking extremely haggard. Ancestor, the twin Sky City Lord couldn't help but cry out in grief. His family's ancestor, now old and weary, was struggling against the newly matured ancient dragon. Without a doubt, it was a scene of an aging hero facing his twilight. Ancestor, countless Twin Sky City cultivators cried out, lamenting both the uncertain future of Twin Sky City and their own fates. Young friend Jiang, I must intervene. You take command here. In the next moment, the Twin Sky City Lord suppressed his sorrow, his face set in determination, and spoke. Without waiting for Jiang Chengxuan to respond, he unleashed all his power and, without hesitation, charged towards the battlefield of the two true immortals. But he was not rushing to his death blindly. As he advanced, he activated some secret technique, causing his aura to soar continuously, reaching the level of a pseudo-true immortal. In this state, he could somewhat interfere in the battle between true immortals, though it was undoubtedly a desperate and heroic act. Jiang Chengxuan's face turned grim as he quickly pondered a solution. After a moment's contemplation, looking at Twin Sky City's second layer of the sky barrier, an idea began to form in his mind. Slaughter the beast army, avenge the ancestor. At once, Jiang Chengxuan ceased hesitating, soaring into the air and unleashing his celestial power with a roar. His command awakened all the Twin Sky City cultivators present. Immediately, their eyes turned towards the trapped beast army. Kill, avenge the ancestor. In the next moment, the multitude of cultivators roared furiously and resolutely, raising a storm under Jiang Chengxuan's lead, launching the final slaughter against the beast army. This time, Jiang Chengxuan faced not just two beast leaders, but also the more formidable Extreme Wind Thunder Bear. Five-colored Annihilation Divine Lotus. In the midst of the raging storm, Jiang Chengxuan charged at the forefront, without hesitation, unleashing his most powerful attack. The five elements Tao manifested to its limit, enveloping the entire world in the scenery of the five elements. Amid the roars of the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear, five divine lotuses emerged from the power of the Tao, exuding terrifying auras as they charged towards it. Their might was not inferior to that of the Twin Sky City Lord. The colossal form of the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear trembled, and the perpetual storm around it instantly intensified, surging higher. Thus, the two immensely powerful forces clashed, causing shockwaves that shook the battlefield. The destructive power of the reversed five elements spread, wreaking havoc among the beast army. Countless beasts, unable to dodge, were annihilated by the aftershocks of this clash. Even the black wolf bird king dodged repeatedly, not daring to confront the attack head-on. Roar! To everyone's surprise, it was the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear that was knocked back. Seizing this opportunity, Jiang Chengxuan wielded the life and death Tao, giving the bear no chance to recover, and pressed the attack relentlessly. Damn it! The Extreme Wind Thunder Bear roared in anger but was helpless. After being suppressed by the Shen family ancestor and the Twin Sky City Lord, it was now overpowered by Jiang Chengxuan, who was equally formidable. Boom! Boom! In a series of explosive clashes, Jiang Chengxuan displayed terrifying power, thoroughly subduing his enemies. Even when the Black Wolf Bird King attempted to intervene, Jiang Chengxuan fought them both fiercely, holding his ground dominantly. This sight greatly encouraged the Twin Sky City cultivators, boosting their morale and solidifying their advantageous position. Void Wheel, Life and Death Annihilation. Finally, after a fierce and bloody battle, Jiang Chengxuan, covered in blood, found an opening. Wielding the gold Void Sword, he combined the Life and Death Tao with the Reincarnation Tao to their limits. In the Extreme Wind Thunder Bear's horrified eyes, he pierced through the void, aiming straight for its heart. Buzz! The bear was defenseless against this deadly, precise strike. The power was so overwhelming it approached the peak of the Ascension realm. In an instant, the raging protective storm was torn apart by the spatial force. Enveloped in terrifying celestial power, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes were resolute as he transformed into an unstoppable divine light, completely piercing through the bear's massive body. A huge hole appeared in its mountainous form, with the destructive power of the life and death and reincarnation rules raging wildly, extinguishing its already fading life force. The commander of the beast army was slain at this moment by Xianxia, who had just broken through to the Ascension realm. Instantly, the bear's blood rained down, soaking the battlefield, leaving everyone and every beast stunned. Only after its massive, unseeing corpse collapsed with a thunderous crash did they accept this unbelievable reality. Screech! With a mournful cry, the black wolf bird king was the first to react. It immediately transformed into a black wind, crossing thousands of miles in an instant, disappearing from the battlefield. Following this, the beast army completely collapsed, fleeing in all directions, howling in despair. Seeing this, the Twin Sky City cultivators' eyes gleamed with renewed fighting spirit as they pursued the remnants of the beast army. Thus, the beast army was thoroughly defeated by Xianxia and his forces. However, amidst the fierce, blood-soaked battle, Xianxia, his aura fluctuating and body covered in blood, did not relax. Even as the black wolf bird king fled, he chose not to pursue. Because, in the battlefield high above, he could sense the dire situation of the Twin Sky City Lord and the Shen family ancestor, both severely wounded and weakening. "I have to try." Muttering to himself, Xianxia, despite his weariness, transformed into a light and flew back to Twin Sky City. Within a few breaths, he arrived at an area engraved with mysterious runes, which controlled the Grand Sky Barrier Array. Yes, Xianxia's plan was to utilize the power of the Sky Barrier Array to aid the Shen family ancestor and the Twin Sky City Lord against the true immortal ancient dragon. But the array's power alone was insufficient. To achieve this, he needed to modify the array, turning it into an offensive formation. Fortunately, with his experience in deciphering the Absolute Heaven Conduit Array and his deeper understanding of the immortal domain's rules after reaching the Ascension realm, Xianxia's formation skills had advanced significantly. He had some ideas on how to transform the array. With this in mind, he wasted no time. His celestial power surged as he extracted numerous precious materials from his storage ring, using the space transcendence technique and other powers to modify the Grand Sky Barrier Array. Time flowed relentlessly in this race against death. Xianxia focused entirely, not daring to slacken for a moment. His entire being was continuously channeling power and thoughts. During this process, a sudden, earth-shattering explosion occurred in the sky. The figures of the Twin Sky City Lord and the Shen family ancestor appeared again, being relentlessly suppressed by the true immortal Black Dragon, retreating step by step. Both were drenched in blood, their conditions desperate. Meanwhile, the true immortal ancient dragon, though still bleeding, maintained a dominant aura over them. Roar! Amidst the horrified gazes of countless Twin Sky City cultivators, the true immortal Black Dragon roared. Golden flames burst from its scales, burning the heavens, engulfing the world in fire. Under the suffocating pressure, its red eyes focused as it launched a decisive attack on the Shen family ancestor and the Twin Sky City Lord. Both the Shen family ancestor and the Twin Sky City Lord widened their eyes in terror, trembling all over. Despite their combined efforts, they could not defeat this true immortal ancient dragon, filling them with a sense of despair. Meanwhile, across various battle zones in Twin Sky City, the horrific battle raged on fiercely, reaching a boiling point. The terrifying clashes between the true immortal Black Dragon, the Shen family ancestor, and the Twin Sky City Lord could be felt no matter where one was. Amidst this, the beast army sensed their side's advantage, their hearts filled with ecstatic bloodlust as they roared and clashed with Twin Sky City cultivators. The massive bodies of the beasts seemed to be reinvigorated, launching continuous attacks as if they never tired. In contrast, the defenders of Twin Sky City, under the oppressive presence of the true immortal Black Dragon, were all despondent and worried. They felt a creeping despair about the uncertain outcome of this war. They couldn't imagine the tragedy that would unfold if the true immortal Black Dragon broke through Twin Sky City's defenses. They feared the massacre of the city's millions, turning them into fodder for the beasts of the Great Thousand Mountains. The scene of corpses littering the ground, bones as far as the eye could see, and mountains of flesh and blood was chilling to imagine. Despite their utmost efforts and lives on the line, they were powerless to change this grim fate. Because the true battlefield that decided victory or defeat was beyond their reach. That was the domain of the power of the nine heavens, one they could only look up to and pray about in their hearts. Even the countless ordinary people and lower-level cultivators in Twin Sky City were anxious, watching the increasingly distorted second layer of the sky barrier. Though they couldn't see the real battlefield, the apocalyptic scene alone made them feel the unfavorable turn of the battle and the approaching death. And those directly beneath the battlefield of the true immortal Black Dragon, Shen family ancestor and twin Sky City Lord, after killing all the remaining beasts, looked at the nearing defeat with empty eyes, clenching their teeth in unwillingness. The beast army had been defeated, but the king of beasts was on the verge of victory. They were helpless. Die, humans, perish with your city. Above the 9 heavens, violent energy erupted, endless black flames engulfing the sky. With the true immortal Black Dragon's roar, the final moment arrived. Seizing the opportunity, the true immortal Black Dragon locked onto the exhausted twin Sky City Lord and Shen family ancestor, unleashing its strongest celestial power in a fatal strike. In this dire moment, the twin Sky City Lord and Shen family ancestor, already devoid of their former might, faced despair and unwillingness. Confronting the annihilating force, they could only muster their remaining celestial power, activate their treasures, and roar in defiance. But everyone knew this was a futile struggle before death, like an ant trying to stop a chariot. No, I can't accept this. Damn it, is Twin Sky City really doomed? Heavens, why are you so cruel? Twin Sky City's remaining cultivators cried out to the sky in despair. The terrifying pressure from the true immortal Black Dragon made them feel suffocated. As destruction was about to descend, a sudden change occurred. Just as the true immortal Black Dragon's celestial power was about to annihilate the Twin Sky City Lord and Shen family ancestor, a mysterious force erupted from Twin Sky City. It was vast, immense, terrifying, and swift, enveloping the sky above in an instant. Under the astonished eyes of everyone, the second layer of the sky barrier in Twin Sky City began to twist and surge violently, activated by this power. Then an enormous hand formed from radiant light extended from the barrier, its fingers spread wide, pressing down towards the true immortal Black Dragon, covering the sky. Its power far exceeded that of an Ascension Realm cultivator, even surpassing typical true immortal strength. In this moment, even the true immortal Black Dragon was shocked, angry, and dared not underestimate it. It redirected its devastating attack from the Twin Sky City Lord and Shen family ancestor to the giant hand. Boom! Before anyone could react, the collision of these two destructive forces resulted in the most terrifying explosion yet. Everyone in Twin Sky City felt the tremor as if the entire Great Thousand Mountains were roaring, sending chills down their spines. What's happening? Who is it? The Twin Sky City Lord and Shen family ancestor, saved from death, were both astonished and overjoyed, looking towards the source of the power. Floating in the light and waves, slowly rising, was Xianxia. Younger Jiang. Immortal Jiang. The Twin Sky City Lord and the cultivators exclaimed in amazement, their eyes shining with awe and disbelief. Roar! However, the true immortal Black Dragon was enraged, bypassing the Twin Sky City Lord and Shen family ancestor, launching an attack at Xianxia. Deep down, it felt an extreme unease. The power of the sky barrier suppressed. At this critical moment, facing the true immortal Black Dragon again and feeling the power of the sky barrier, Xianxia was fearless, charging head-on. In this crucial moment, he didn't disappoint. He had finally succeeded in modifying and upgrading the celestial array. Now, with this array, he could harness the power accumulated in Twin Sky City's sky barrier for countless millennia. Thus, everyone saw another giant hand materialize from the radiant sky barrier, right before the enormous body of the true immortal Black Dragon. It wielded unparalleled power, turning the sky into a spectrum of extreme light, and with a gesture of its fingers like blades, it directly slashed forward. In an instant, a chasm and a star river appeared in the void, with countless stars being born and destroyed. Even cultivators in other battle zones could see it. The might of this strike was terrifying, causing the previously confident true immortal Black Dragon to feel a chill in its heart, realizing that its reckless move might bring about dire consequences. Boom! Before it could hesitate and regret, the force of the sky barrier, under Xianxia's command, descended to suppress it. In a flash, the true immortal Black Dragon and the sky-enveloping black flames collided with the extreme light of the sky barrier, both forces continuously devouring each other in an endless struggle. But no matter how formidable the true immortal Black Dragon was, How could it withstand the power of Twin Sky City's sky barrier, accumulated over countless ages? Soon, the true immortal black dragon was trapped within the boundless extreme light, as if it had stepped into a quagmire tightly bound. No matter how it roared, flapped its wings, or unleashed its true immortal power, it couldn't escape. However, the true immortal black dragon wasn't instantly killed. Its immense power was something even Jiang Chengxuan couldn't easily annihilate. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes turned red as he exerted all his strength to suppress the true immortal black dragon. The entire sky barrier array trembled incessantly under its struggle, causing mysterious waves to ripple across Twin Sky City. Attack! Sensing the opportunity, the Shen family ancestor roared to everyone present. He then summoned his celestial treasure, disregarding his injuries, and pushed his celestial power and Tao laws to the limit. Hearing this, all the cultivators of Twin Sky City finally reacted. Regardless of their realm, whether they were in the Ascension realm or other realms, they all roared, unleashing their trump cards without mercy, aiming them at the true immortal black dragon suppressed by Jiang Chengxuan. Under the extreme light of the sky barrier, in just a few breaths, thousands upon thousands of energy beams were unleashed, transforming into streams of light that pierced through the void. Above the nine heavens, two true immortal-level powers also struck out. At this moment, the true immortal black dragon finally sensed the aura of death. Its eyes turned blood-red, and in the face of death, it erupted with all its might. In response, the extreme light of the sky barrier shattered, even tearing the void into chasm-like rifts, revealing a scene of nothingness. However, in this desperate moment, Jiang Chengxuan let out a low roar, pushing the three Tao laws to their limits, his body trembling as he forcibly harnessed the power of the sky barrier without retreating a step. Thus, under everyone's astonished gaze, countless attacks, along with the suppressing power of the sky barrier, struck the wounded ancient black dragon. In an instant, the sky darkened, and the entire Great Thousand Mountains roared and trembled. Numerous voids were torn apart, chaos surged, and terrifying energy storms almost engulfed half of Twin Sky City. Continuous explosions resounded like thunderclaps, one after another. Roar! Such immense damage was unbearable even for the true immortal black dragon. Its entire body cracked with horrific wounds, and dragon blood rained from the sky like a crimson waterfall. The intense pain and the approaching aura of death drove the true immortal black dragon into a frenzy, struggling desperately. The next moment, to everyone's astonishment, it broke free from the restraints of the sky barrier array, emerging from the chaotic currents, and soared into the sky. No, it's trying to escape. We can't let it escape, or it will bring endless trouble. Seeing this, the Twin Sky City Lord and the Shen family ancestors' eyes widened in anger, shouting urgently. But in its desperate state, the true immortal black dragon used all its strength to escape, unstoppable, tearing through vast spaces, about to vanish within them. This scene left all the cultivators of Twin Sky City in extreme anxiety, wishing they could rush forward to hold back the dragon. Yet with their power, they were ultimately helpless. HMPH trying to escape. At this critical moment, Jiang Chengxuan didn't disappoint and made a decisive move. With a cold snort, he once again activated the sky barrier array, drawing countless streams of sky barrier power, transforming them into several sharp, mountain-like spears that pierced through the void. These spears, containing terrifying destructive power, moved so fast that even the naked eye could barely track them. As several beams of light flashed by, the black dragon, about to enter the spatial rift, suddenly paused. Its massive body, as if losing support, plummeted from the sky like a black nightfall descending upon the world. Boom! A deafening crash echoed as the dragon's colossal body fell, smashing part of the city walls. Dust and rubble flew everywhere, scorching dragon blood flowing in rivers. The black dragon lay motionless on the vast ground, several 1,000-foot-long spears of extreme light piercing its back and neck. The true immortal black dragon was slain by Jiang Chengxuan. This sudden reversal left all the cultivators of Twin Sky City stunned and deeply shocked. Even the Shen family ancestor and the Twin Sky City Lord stood dumbfounded, speechless for a moment. The black dragon is dead. The true immortal black dragon was slain by immortal Jiang. We won, we truly won. Twin Sky City is saved. It's dead, we're alive, we're alive. Immortal Jiang's divine might, immortal Jiang's divine might. After a while, as the dragon's blood formed a vast pool, the cultivators of Twin Sky City finally came to their senses, cheering and crying tears of joy. They shouted and wept in ecstasy, chanting Jiang Chengxuan's name, laughing madly in euphoria. "We won, ancestor. The black dragon is dead. Brother, who is this man? To possess such terrifying power, he's truly a formidable young talent." At this moment, the Twin Sky City Lord and the Shen family ancestor, having narrowly escaped death, finally stabilized their emotions and exchanged looks. Then all the surviving cultivators of Twin Sky City eagerly returned to the city, gathering on the walls to see Jiang Chengxuan. "Thank you, immortal Jiang, for saving us all from the flames." Immediately, these ordinary cultivators knelt down, bowing deeply to Jiang Chengxuan in unison. Seeing this, the slightly exhausted Jiang Chengxuan forced a smile and said to everyone, "This victory is not mine alone. It is because of all of you sacrificing yourselves that Twin Sky City is saved. The city lord and ancestor also deserve great credit. Without you, I couldn't have slain this enemy." These words filled everyone present with excitement, their eyes shining as they looked at Jiang Chengxuan with even greater respect. "Young friend Jiang, meeting you is truly a blessing for all in Twin Sky City. Such a talented young man, thank you." In response, the Twin Sky City Lord and the Shen family ancestor bowed in gratitude. They couldn't help but feel fortunate in their hearts. But after clearing away the beast carcasses and the black dragon's corpse, Jiang Chengxuan and his companions took a brief rest before heading to support other battle zones. By this time, with the true immortal black dragon slain, the beast army sensed it and fell into chaos, facing a counterattack from the human side. With Jiang Chengxuan and the Twin Sky City Lord joining the battle, the beast riot gradually came to an end. Countless beast armies were slaughtered and driven back into the Great Thousand Mountains, chased for millions of miles, not daring to return to their former territories. Months later, as the sky barrier of Twin Sky City rose once more, it signified the true end of this epic battle. After this war, no beast dared to show itself within 10,000 miles of Twin Sky City. This majestic ancient city standing in the Great Thousand Mountains had gained a tranquility lasting thousands of years, thanks to Jiang Chengxuan's divine intervention. Young friend Jiang, rest assured and focus on your cultivation. Should you need anything, Twin Sky City will fully support you. Haha. Immortal, I shall take my leave now. Outside the cave residence gifted to Jiang Chengxuan by the Twin Sky City Lord, both the City Lord and Shen Feng bid farewell to Jiang Chengxuan with smiles on their faces. A few months after the end of the Great Beast Battle, they came today not for any other reason, but to deliver some beast materials and rewards to Jiang Chengxuan. Accepting the storage rings handed over by the two, Jiang Chengxuan smiled warmly and waved his hand in return. "Take care, you two." Afterward, the figures of the Twin Sky City Lord and Shen Feng transformed into streams of light and disappeared into the distant horizon. Following the Great Beast Battle, it was needless to say that Jiang Chengxuan's status in Twin Sky City remained exceptionally high, commanding respect even from the City Lord himself. Thus, when Jiang Chengxuan opened the storage rings, he found them filled with rare beast materials, piled high and exuding extraordinary auras, valuable even to an ascension-level cultivator. Had he not known that Twin Sky City had recently reaped substantial gains from the war, Jiang Chengxuan might have thought that the City Lord had given him half of Twin Sky City's beast materials. This time, although it was dangerous, the gains are indeed considerable. Even with Jiang Chengxuan's composure, he couldn't help but marvel, a look of satisfaction appearing on his face. As he spoke, he took out an ancient treasure box from his sleeve. Upon opening it, boundless celestial energy spilled out, instantly filling the cave with colorful clouds. Inside the box lay a cultivation pill, a reward from the system for achieving the feat of defending Twin Sky City. This pill, once consumed, would provide a substantial boost to his cultivation for an extended period, increasing his cultivation speed several folds. Upon receiving this reward, Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but gasp in surprise and delight. With this, his plans for the upcoming period were clear. Earlier, when he saw off the City Lord and Shen Feng, Jiang Chengxuan had informed them that he would enter seclusion to break through to a higher realm. With this pill, I should be able to significantly advance my cultivation. Smiling, Jiang Chengxuan closed the treasure box and murmured to himself. He wasted no time, ensuring no one would disturb him before reactivating the seclusion restrictions and formations. In an instant, clouds and winds surged, and extreme light descended from the sky, enveloping the entire immortal mountain. Celestial energy gathered from all directions, forming thick, colorful clouds that concealed the cave, making it seem as though it had vanished. Inside the cave, filled with dense celestial energy, Jiang Chengxuan did not immediately begin his cultivation. Before his seclusion, he planned to refine some pills to maximize the effectiveness of the cultivation pill. After all this time, he wasn't breaking through a realm but enhancing his cultivation, which could take several thousand years. Thus, amidst flickering celestial light, Jiang Chengxuan summoned the mountain and sea furnace, placing it before him. With a wave of his hand, numerous celestial herbs, already prepared from the high desolation plains, and materials from beasts floated orderly in the cave. Celestial Beast Body Pill, capable of gradually enhancing the physical strength of a cultivator during cultivation. Closing his eyes, Jiang Chengxuan recalled the contents of the pill recipe. This pill required the essence blood and materials from hundreds of beasts to refine. It could subtly and gradually enhance the user's physical strength, a recipe suited for ascension-level cultivators. This was the first pill Jiang Chengxuan intended to refine. Exhale. Breathing out a turbid breath, Jiang Chengxuan opened his eyes, which shone brightly. Without hesitation, he ignited the alchemical flames within the furnace, skillfully controlling the fire. Within a few breaths, the celestial flames surged to their peak, manifesting various phenomena, exuding intense heat. Then, one by one, the celestial herbs were thrown into the mountain and sea furnace, sizzling as they began to melt. This step was as simple as breathing for Jiang Chengxuan. Without any surprises, the celestial herbs melted into pure essence, which he gathered with his celestial power into a single mass. The spacious cave soon filled with a faint medicinal fragrance. But Jiang Chengxuan remained meticulous, waving his hand to summon another set of materials. This time, several bottles of beast essence blood appeared, suspended in the air. Each bottle glowed with vibrant colors, emitting faint, mysterious light and incredible power. Over 100 bottles of beast blood spread across the void, creating a stunning sight. This was the most challenging part of refining the celestial beast body pill. Beast essence blood had properties entirely different from celestial herbs, requiring precise control and manipulation during refinement. A single misstep could cause the blood to evaporate or even explode the furnace with its immense power. Jiang Chengxuan knew that any mistake would ruin everything, making all his efforts futile. So he took a moment to gather his focus before he began to pour the beast essence blood into the furnace, forming it into clusters and slowly adding them into the furnace. Hum. Immediately, the power within the beast essence blood began to surge restlessly, reacting violently with the alchemical flames, causing constant waves of energy to burst forth. Calm down. With a focused gaze, Jiang Chengxuan's celestial power surged, activating the full potential of the mountain and sea furnace. He layered it with multiple levels of spiritual pressure until the essence blood finally settled and began to refine. Under the intense heat, the beast essence blood visibly began to shrink, but its color deepened, transitioning from red to purple, becoming more potent and mysterious. After a while, the large cluster of beast essence blood had condensed to the size of a thumb. Jiang Chengxuan briefly withdrew his power, exhaling a sigh of relief. Although it was his first time refining celestial beast essence blood, it turned out to be less difficult than anticipated. The essence blood was from beasts not too powerful, at most at the transcendent stage. But it was not yet time to relax. Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan resumed refining more beast essence blood, this time adding 3 clusters simultaneously. In an instant, an even more powerful wave of energy burst forth. With a determined shout, he activated the mountain and sea furnace's full power, and within moments, the essence blood was subdued and began to refine. This process was extremely lengthy and monotonous, with no shortcuts. Time flowed relentlessly, and after what felt like an eternity, Jiang Chengxuan finally succeeded in refining all the beast essence blood. The next step was to shape the pill. This part was something Jiang Chengxuan was well practiced in. A few years passed as he meticulously shaped the pill, until one day, the mountain and sea furnace erupted with a mysterious light. Phenomena of mountains and rivers manifested as Jiang Chengxuan let out a shout, and a 9-colored, radiant pill exuding celestial light flew out of the furnace, landing in Jiang Chengxuan's hand with an invigorating fragrance. Just by inhaling its aroma, Jiang Chengxuan could feel the astounding power within, causing his blood to resonate. Truly extraordinary. Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but smile in satisfaction. His efforts over the past decades had not been in vain. Yet this was not the time to consume the pill. After confirming its perfection, he stored it away. After a brief rest, he took out a large number of celestial herbs to refine other auxiliary pills. This time he focused on pills that would aid in cultivation and seclusion. Having previously refined some of these, the process went smoothly. Another few decades passed, and Jiang Chengxuan had filled several bottles with various pills. Finally, the moment for secluded cultivation had arrived. Without delay, Jiang Chengxuan took a pill to adjust his breathing, transforming his state from alchemical refinement to cultivation. His aura gradually receded, becoming concentrated and subdued. Sitting cross-legged in his cave, Jiang Chengxuan calmed his mind completely. In a burst of celestial light, he took out the 9-colored celestial beast body pill and swallowed it, focusing his mind as he began to cultivate. In an instant, pure medicinal energy erupted from his dantian, flooding his entire being. The power of the beast essence blood continually stimulated his bloodline and physical strength. Jiang Chengxuan felt like a spiritual plant absorbing sunlight, growing rapidly, and spreading its branches. His strength and muscles visibly condensed and solidified. His already near-perfect celestial body began to undergo a second transformation, unlocking higher limits of power, making him sigh in contentment. This process was slow yet subtle, requiring no conscious effort from Jiang Chengxuan to control. Soon he adapted fully to this change, returning his mind to a tranquil state, resuming his seclusion. Thus began a true period of deep cultivation. In his cave, Jiang Chengxuan continuously circulated his cultivation method, consumed celestial pills, refined their energies, absorbed celestial qi, and stabilized his realm, entering an almost eternal cycle. In the mountain, time was meaningless. The passage of years went unnoticed. Time flowed relentlessly during this period of seclusion, and the seasons turned countless times in Twin Sky City. The scars from the beast uprising that nearly breached Twin Sky City had begun to fade from memory. The wounds from the great battle healed over time, nurturing new life and strength, restoring normalcy. After the war, Twin Sky City entered a prolonged period of peace and development. During this time, the city lord and Shen Feng occasionally visited Jiang Chengxuan's cave to check on him. They sensed his increasing aura, but no signs of him emerging from seclusion. The growing power inside even caused them some unease. Now, within the radiant cave, Jiang Chengxuan reached a critical juncture. After countless cycles of refining and consolidating his realm, his cultivation had reached the peak of mid-ascension. He stood on the threshold of the late ascension stage, just one step away from a monumental breakthrough. This was the power of the cultivation pill awarded by the system. Hum. Waves of intense energy fluctuations radiated from him, reverberating endlessly. In this moment, Jiang Chengxuan's aura soared, reaching a terrifying level. He manifested the rules of the celestial domain around him, displaying various celestial phenomena. With his advanced cultivation, his understanding of celestial principles deepened, enhancing his power manifold. Breakthrough! With a resolute shout, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes flashed with determination as he gathered all his celestial power, launching a decisive strike at his bottleneck. In a resounding bang, like the breaking of a silver bottle, the surrounding void trembled, rippling. In that instant, Jiang Chengxuan's realm advanced to the late ascension stage. Vast amounts of celestial energy, accumulated over thousands of years, surged into Jiang Chengxuan's body, which absorbed it without hesitation. Thanks to the celestial beast body pill, Jiang Chengxuan's celestial physique had reached an unimaginable level of resilience. Thus, he absorbed the abundant celestial energy effortlessly, refining it. Boom! At a certain moment, divine light and thunder descended from the sky, manifesting various phenomena outside the celestial mountain, shocking many. Jiang Chengxuan's realm stabilized at the late ascension stage. Finally, even Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but laugh in joy. Feeling the multiplied strength within, he waved his hand, unleashing a gust of celestial power, lifting the restrictions on the celestial mountain, leaping into the sky. Under the second celestial veil of Twin Sky City, he bathed in divine light, graceful as an immortal. Congratulations to immortal Jiang on your breakthrough. truly worthy of celebration. Congratulations to immortal Jiang on your breakthrough, truly worthy of celebration. Young friend Jiang, congratulations. Immortal Jiang's power is awe-inspiring. Countless figures eagerly awaited outside the celestial mountain. Upon seeing Jiang Chengxuan, they immediately offered their blessings, celebrating together. This time, the event was more grand and lively than ever before, truly a grand spectacle. Thank you all for your kind words and support. I'm grateful for the progress I've made. Faced with the admiration and respect from many cultivators in Twin Sky City, Jiang Chengxuan remained humble, politely returning their greetings. Soon after, the city lord and Shen Feng approached with warm smiles, offering congratulatory gifts they had long prepared for Jiang Chengxuan. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan initially declined out of courtesy. However, under their insistent urging, he finally accepted the gifts with a helpless smile. This set off a chain reaction, as many cultivators behind them began to approach in order, eager to exchange a few words with Jiang Chengxuan and present their own gifts. All of this was somewhat unexpected for Jiang Chengxuan. Despite the passage of time, it was clear that the cultivators who remembered that pivotal battle still held his actions in high regard. Yet, while this filled Jiang Chengxuan with joy, it also moved him deeply. As the day turned into evening, he bid farewell to everyone he had spoken with. For Jiang Chengxuan, this farewell would likely be the last time he saw these people. After achieving a breakthrough in his cultivation, he had no intention of staying in Twin Sky City. Instead, he planned to return to the Alchemy League in the Wongsing Celestial Domain. After all, his presence here was somewhat serendipitous, and he had never intended to make it a long-term residence. Now that he had achieved his goal of breaking through in cultivation, there was no reason to stay any longer. So after the crowd dispersed, Jiang Chengxuan informed the city lord and Shen Feng of his decision to leave. Upon hearing this, they both showed expressions of regret, but they understood it was only natural. Sigh, young friend Jiang, who knows when we will meet again after this parting. The contribution you made to Twin Sky City will never be forgotten by its people. Whenever you wish to return, Twin Sky City will always welcome you. The city lord said with a heavy heart, his sincerity evident. Immortal Jiang, I Shen Feng, will also never forget your kindness. Shen Feng added solemnly, bowing respectfully. Although they hadn't spent much time together, the bond they formed through shared life-and-death experiences was deep. Twin Sky City had always valued straightforwardness, and they regarded Jiang Chengxuan as one of their own. Jiang Chengxuan understood these sentiments and felt a connection to Twin Sky City as well. But as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. He smiled lightly, took out some celestial pills from his storage ring, and said to the two of them. These celestial pills were refined using beast essence blood. Some of them have properties that specifically counteract beasts. Consider them my parting gifts to you. Please take care. This gesture moved the city lord and Shen Feng deeply, and they gratefully accepted the pills. They immediately recognized their value and the extraordinary effort Jiang Chengxuan had put into them. Thank you, young friend, take care. Immortal Jiang, take care. After exchanging these final words, Jiang Chengxuan waved goodbye and left without allowing them to see him off. This marked the end of his chapter in Twin Sky City. Several days later, after leaving Twin Sky City and traversing the Thousand Mountains range, Jiang Chengxuan encountered no significant obstacles. Following the route pointed out by the city lord, he arrived at a new celestial city named Xianxia City, which was not particularly grand but was located outside the Thousand Mountains range. The main reason Jiang Chengxuan came here was because this city had a branch of the Alchemy League, and through its teleportation array, he could directly reach the Alchemy League in the Wongsing Celestial Domain. Thanks to his status from Twin Sky City, Jiang Chengxuan entered the city without any hindrance. He then made his way to the Alchemy League branch, presented his alchemist certification, and instantly shocked everyone present, causing the branch's leader to become obsequious. Jiang Chengxuan's request was quickly met. Amidst the admiring and reverent gazes of the branch's alchemists, the teleportation array was activated. Accompanied by a burst of 9-colored celestial light and spatial fluctuations, Jiang Chengxuan's figure disappeared. Familiar sensations of traveling through space enveloped him, and soon everything before his eyes became a blur of flowing light. In the blink of an eye, Jiang Chengxuan found himself in a familiar grand hall. This place, resplendent with gold and jade, was undoubtedly the central hall that led directly to the Alchemy League in the Wangxing celestial domain. Here, using his credentials, Jiang Chengxuan made one final teleportation and, in an instant, returned to the outer city of the Alchemy League in the Wangxing celestial domain. Everything was as familiar as before. The grand halls of various designs, the proud expressions of alchemists walking the streets, and the faint aroma of medicinal herbs in the air. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but feel a surge of emotion. After thousands of years, he had returned to his foothold in the celestial domain. Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan traversed the many districts and avenues, arriving at the inner city entrance of the Alchemy League. With the familiar dazzling light of his token, he entered a starfield. After being recognized by the will of the starfield, he truly returned to the Alchemy League in the Wangxing celestial domain. The floating glass alchemy towers in the void remained as magnificent as ever, and the platform shrouded in glowing clouds. The familiar sight of the Alchemy League remained as grand and magnificent as ever. The thousands of years that had passed had not left a mark on the Wangxing celestial domain's Alchemy League. Finally back again. Feeling the serene and familiar atmosphere, Jiang Chengxuan murmured to himself. He then eagerly transformed into a beam of light and headed toward the center of the Alchemy League. As he moved, he noticed an increasing number of distinguished alchemists, their presence becoming more sparse as he approached his destination. Soon, his personal cave residence came into view. Coincidentally, several familiar figures were just about to leave when they saw Jiang Chengxuan approaching. Their faces lit up with excitement and joy, waving at him. "Chengxuan, you're really back." These people were none other than Lan Yu and their companions, friends Jiang Chengxuan had made after passing the Alchemy League's entrance trials together. "Everyone, it's good to see you all again." Reunited with old friends, Jiang Chengxuan was equally delighted. He landed in front of them, clasped his hands in greeting and smiled. "Chengxuan, it's great to see you. We've all missed you during your absence." Lan Yu and the others surrounded him, their faces beaming with happiness. They had come today to check if Jiang Chengxuan had returned and by chance ran into him. It was truly a fortunate encounter. "Lan Yu, congratulations on becoming an immortal alchemist. That's wonderful news." Jiang Chengxuan keenly noticed the change in Lan Yu's badge, indicating his promotion to immortal alchemist, and congratulated him. Lan Yu's face beamed even brighter as he smiled and said, "It's a small achievement, thanks to your guidance, Chengxuan." During Jiang Chengxuan's years of traveling, his friends had not been idle. They worked hard to follow his example, leading to such fruitful results. Besides Lan Yu, the others had also made significant progress, some just a step away from becoming immortal alchemists. "Haha, this is a little gift from my travels, a token to celebrate your breakthrough. Please accept it." Generously, Jiang Chengxuan took out some rare beast materials he had obtained from Twin Sky City and distributed them among his friends. These materials, unique to the Thousand Mountains range, were extraordinary. Lan Yu and the others were overjoyed, gratefully accepting the gifts without hesitation. For alchemists, nothing was more valuable than high-quality alchemy materials. "Come on in, let's chat inside." After everyone accepted their gifts, Jiang Chengxuan retrieved his token and, with a flash of light, opened the restriction on his cave residence. Their eyes widened as they entered, marveling at the undiminished splendor of the celestial cave, which had retained its ethereal glow over the millennia. The various spiritual plants and celestial stones were still radiant and vibrant. Moments later, seated around a stone table in a pavilion by the water, they poured celestial wine and began conversing. Under the curious gazes of Lan Yu and the others, Jiang Chengxuan recounted his adventures, eliciting exclamations and admiration from his friends. From the mysterious mountains to the vast plains of Gao Huang, the encounters in the wilderness city, and the ancient ruins, Jiang Chengxuan held nothing back, except for the details of slaying other cultivators and rescuing members of the gold and silver immortal sect. Hearing about the dangers he faced in Twin Sky City, Lan Yu and the others couldn't help but feel a shiver of fear for him. They now understood the true value of the gifts he had given them and appreciated them even more. "A true immortal dragon. Thank heavens, Chengxuan, you are so powerful and skilled. Otherwise, the outcome would have been disastrous." "Indeed, I've read about true immortal dragons in ancient texts. They are natural rulers of the celestial domain. Who would have thought one would appear in such a place? Your journey was truly extraordinary and inspiring." Haha, but if it were any of us, we probably wouldn't have made it back safely. As Jiang Chengxuan finished his story, his friends began discussing animatedly, their expressions mixed with awe, envy, and fear. Though they were accomplished alchemists, their experiences paled in comparison to Jiang Chengxuan's adventures. After several days of conversation, Lan Yu and his companions finally bid farewell to Jiang Chengxuan and returned to their own residences. These days had been a small respite for Jiang Chengxuan. Now, with the lingering effects of the cultivation pill from the system still in his body, he knew he had to seize the time and continue his seclusion for further cultivation. Before doing so, however, he planned to take stock of his gains from his journey. Over the thousands of years, he had amassed countless treasures. The common celestial herbs and spiritual items were piled in a corner, while he carefully examined the most precious ones. The first item was undoubtedly the heaven-holding bottle obtained from the ancient ruins. With this item, he never had to worry about running out of celestial herbs for alchemy. A few drops of the bottle's liquid could instantly grow any herb to maturity. Next was the mysterious skull from the same ruins. Although he hadn't discovered its true use, it was undoubtedly extraordinary as a core treasure of an ancient sect. Then came the materials he acquired from Twin Sky City. Having slain the primal crystal lizard and the extreme wind thunder bear, their remains were his to keep. Even the majority of the true immortal dragon's materials were allocated to him, including blood, scales, wings, and tail, all brimming with immense energy. Jiang Chengxuan planned to refine these materials into protective garments and other treasures, which would significantly enhance his strength. So many treasures can be a bit overwhelming. Jiang Chengxuan murmured with a wry smile. The wealth he had accumulated was enough to support his cultivation for an indefinite period. It seemed that the search for the Haoran immortal sect and his wife, Shen Ruyan, could now be brought forward. Perhaps after this next round of seclusion, he could officially leave the Wongxing celestial domain and embark on that quest. With that thought, Jiang Chengxuan set aside his distractions, stored away his treasures, and summoned the mountain and sea furnace, igniting its flames to prepare more alchemical pills. Time flew by swiftly, and in what seemed like no time, several years had passed. As the flames in the mountain and sea furnace gradually died down, Jiang Chengxuan's preparations for his seclusion were complete. During this period, Lan Yu and his friends often visited to observe Jiang Chengxuan's alchemy techniques and exchange experiences. Consequently, some of them were on the brink of breaking through to become immortal alchemists themselves, retreating to their own abodes for seclusion. Having informed his friends of his impending long seclusion, Jiang Chengxuan's cave residence once again became quiet. Accustomed to such rigorous cultivation, he wasted no time after storing the furnace and completing his preparations. Jiang Chengxuan immediately activated the seclusion restrictions of his cave residence. Amidst the roaring and pulsing of the restrictions, a barrier formed, drawing in endless celestial energy as Jiang Chengxuan began his seclusion once more. During this session of closed-door cultivation, Jiang Chengxuan had only a rough plan in mind. He didn't set any specific goals or time limits for himself, but he was prepared to continue as long as the potency of the cultivation pill lasted. Even if it took 10,000 years, he was determined to persevere. With this resolve, Jiang Chengxuan fully concentrated, sitting cross-legged in his cave residence. He projected his primordial spirit, mastering a domain, and continuously absorbed and refined celestial energy, converting it into his cultivation. Thanks to the effects of the cultivation pill, this process was highly efficient. The celestial energy absorbed would instantly transform into pure power upon encountering the residual medicinal power of the cultivation pill within his body. Jiang Chengxuan also periodically consumed auxiliary cultivation pills, refining their power to further hone his realm. Additionally, the celestial beast body pill constantly refined Jiang Chengxuan's physical body, thoroughly unlocking every ounce of strength in his celestial form. This multifaceted approach was why Jiang Chengxuan chose to undergo successive periods of seclusion. With numerous cultivation aids at his disposal, any other activities would be a waste of precious time. Thus, under this three-pronged strategy, Jiang Chengxuan's realm and strength accumulated steadily, like water wearing down stone. Time flew by mercilessly, with years passing in the blink of an eye. 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 4,000 years. Jiang Chengxuan sat like a stone Buddha in his cave, his aura occasionally breaking through bottlenecks and triggering various celestial phenomena. His five elements Tao, life and death Tao, and reincarnation Tao evolved to their peaks in the void, creating a dreamlike cultivation environment. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan had already reached the pinnacle of the immortal ascension realm. All his powers had reached their zenith at this level, leaving him just one step away from the threshold of the true immortal realm. Who? Jiang Chengxuan exhaled a breath of turbid air, taking a moment to relax and temporarily halting his cultivation. His face showed some joy, but it wasn't overwhelming. To him, reaching the peak of the immortal ascension realm in 4,000 years wasn't particularly arduous. After all, this wasn't a major breakthrough, and there were no significant barriers to overcome. It was merely a matter of gradually accumulating celestial energy and refining his celestial body. With the help of the cultivation pill and various other elixirs, this time frame was well within Jiang Chengxuan's expectations. The power of the cultivation pill is still present. After a brief respite, Jiang Chengxuan sensed the lingering effects of the cultivation pill within his body and murmured to himself. This meant that his seclusion was far from over. Now standing at the threshold of the true immortal realm, his next step was to break through, which required some preparation. Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan summoned the mountain and sea furnace once again. With a wave of his hand, he took out several potent celestial herbs from his storage ring, placing them in the rich celestial energy, awaiting refinement. This time, Jiang Chengxuan didn't rush. He first took out the true immortal transformation elixir, manual, flipping to the specific recipe he needed. The recipe boldly stated its name and effects. It could increase the success rate of breaking through to the true immortal realm by 30%. However, such a potent effect required extremely rare materials. The first ingredient listed was true immortal blood essence, a requirement that could make anyone laugh bitterly. After all, how could someone who hadn't yet broken through to the true immortal realm obtain blood essence from someone who had? Blood essence wasn't easily acquired. It was as precious as a cultivator's primordial spirit. Losing blood essence would weaken a cultivator's realm, and losing too much could even damage their path, preventing future progress. Even in large true immortal sects, elders would rarely give up their blood essence, even for the most promising disciples or descendants. This highlighted its immense value. Reflecting on this, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes sharpened. He took out a crystalline, 9-colored jade bottle from his storage ring. This precious celestial artifact radiated an extraordinary aura. Inside the bottle was an even more remarkable substance. Its power was so potent that it dimmed the surrounding celestial light even through the bottle's restrictions. This was true immortal blood essence, specifically from the true immortal dragon of Twin Sky City. With this, Jiang Chengxuan had all the materials needed to refine the true immortal transformation elixir. With a serious expression, Jiang Chengxuan activated his celestial power, igniting the furnace's alchemical flames. Under his masterful control, the flames surged and engulfed the area. One by one, rare celestial herbs flew into the furnace, enduring the intense heat as they were refined, sizzling and crackling. This step felt as natural as breathing to Jiang Chengxuan. One drop after another of the celestial herb essence trickled down, emitting layers of medicinal fragrance. Soon, clusters of celestial herb essence, each embodying the rules of the celestial domain, floated like stars within the alchemical flames, reflecting a world of mountains and rivers, creating an awe-inspiring scene. These reflections mirrored the celestial laws, appearing incredibly mystical. But the main event of refining the true immortal transformation pill was yet to come. With a solemn gaze, Jiang Chengxuan retrieved the true immortal dragon's blood essence. Without hesitation, he released the restrictions on the 9-colored jade bottle. Instantly, a heavy, angry dragon's roar echoed faintly, and within the mountain and sea furnace, a shadow that could cover the sky appeared, suppressing the alchemical flames and the celestial herb essence with overwhelming dominance. The pitch-black blood essence seemed alive, writhing in the air, its formidable power causing the atmosphere in the cave to grow restless. Submit. Jiang Chengxuan's eyes sharpened as he activated the mountain and sea furnace's full power, directing it to suppress the blood essence. His strength now far surpassed what it was during his time in Twin Sky City. Even if he faced the true immortal dragon again, he would not be afraid, let alone this mere blood essence. Buzz. The mountain and sea furnace's power manifested in a series of mystical waves, and the rampant blood essence seemed to be grasped by an invisible hand, instantly subdued. Rise, Jiang Chengxuan commanded, and the flames within the furnace obeyed, extending tendrils of fire to envelop the dragon's blood essence. The fire's phenomena continuously shifted as it began the refinement process. With his previous experience refining the celestial beast body pill, Jiang Chengxuan was well versed in handling blood essence. Though this refinement was slower, it proceeded without incident. No matter how formidable, the dragon's blood essence was ultimately lifeless and had to comply under Jiang Chengxuan's thorough preparation. The refinement took several years. At last, the dragon's blood essence was condensed into a thumb-sized piece of amber-like substance within the mountain and sea furnace. This small piece contained most of the true, immortal dragon's power. If a cultivator of the transformation stage consumed it directly, they would likely explode from the overwhelming energy. Therefore, the purpose of the many celestial herbs in the furnace was to neutralize and balance this blood essence's power. It went smoothly. Jiang Chengxuan sighed in relief, murmuring to himself. With a wave of his hand, he gathered the essence of all the materials in the furnace, and with a shout of "Form the pill," his power at the peak of the immortal ascension realm erupted, shaping the combined essences with an invisible force. Instantly, countless residual powers clashed, generating immense energy. Jiang Chengxuan, with a frosty focus, meticulously controlled and fused them. The myriad transformations were all clear in his eyes. Soon, the embryo of a pill began to form, containing a complete new power of rules within. 100 years passed in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, the quiet cave stirred as intense celestial light burst from the mountain and sea furnace, breaking through the alchemical flames and flooding the area with an overwhelming aura and medicinal fragrance. The true, immortal transformation pill was complete. Jiang Chengxuan's tense expression finally relaxed into a smile. Gazing at the mystical pill within the furnace, he conjured a breeze to lift it into his hand. This was the most challenging pill he had ever refined, and the dragon's blood essence was limited. Failure would have been a significant loss. Now, with the pill successfully created, he could finally breathe easy. Over the next few days, Jiang Chengxuan focused on adjusting his state of mind. Once everything was perfectly aligned, he sat down and consumed the pill, beginning his attempt to break through to the true immortal realm. Inside Jiang Chengxuan's body, powerful celestial energy started refining the true immortal transformation pill. Cool, mystical energy spread through his limbs, clearing his mind and sharpening his senses. The hidden celestial laws around him became visible, almost tangible. A true immortal is one whose body, mind, and spirit are all attuned to the celestial path. They comprehend and command the celestial laws, capable of tearing through celestial space and becoming rulers of their domain. Even in the vast myriad stars' celestial domain, true immortals are few and highly revered. With true immortal strength, one could gain special treatment across celestial domains. Such beings are rare and coveted by all factions, even the top sects of the celestial realms. This is the watershed moment for a celestial being. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan's body was brewing with this power. The energies from the cultivation pill, the celestial beast body pill, and the true immortal transformation pill converged, driving him firmly toward the true immortal threshold. This process was destined to be long, but Jiang Chengxuan felt unparalleled confidence and determination. 1,000 years, 2,000 years, 3,000 years, 5,000 years, 6,000 years. In the blink of an eye, 10,000 years had passed since Jiang Chengxuan began his seclusion. Though time flowed quickly in the celestial realm, this was still a staggering number. Outside the celestial domain, 10,000 years could see the rise and fall of entire cultivation eras. Mind and body enter the path, revealing the true self, true immortal realm come forth. Under the mist of ancient celestial energy, a voice rang out like a bell. A mystical force shattered an invisible barrier. Instantly, the heavens and earth resonated with thunderous roars, rippling through the universe. Jiang Chengxuan's body turned into a pure, flawless crystal, merging with the celestial domain, his primordial spirit bathed in the oldest celestial aura. The will of the celestial realm gathered around him. Boom! Celestial energy from all directions surged toward Jiang Chengxuan, a sight so astonishing it quickly spread throughout the cave and the myriad stars' celestial domain. Starting from Jiang Chengxuan's cave, the sky was filled with swirling clouds, and countless streams of celestial light were drawn toward him like rivers converging into the sea. Within moments, the elemental energy within miles formed a vacuum, pulled entirely into Jiang Chengxuan's body. Unaware of the external commotion, Jiang Chengxuan was immersed in pure joy. At this moment, his cultivation broke through the pinnacle of the immortal ascension realm, reaching the true immortal realm. 10,000 years of cultivation had finally opened this door, revealing the most brilliant world of the celestial realm. Within the myriad stars' celestial domain alchemy alliance, the heavens changed color and clouds gathered. The commotion caused by Jiang Chengxuan's breakthrough to true immortal was quickly noticed by everyone in the alliance. Instantly, countless curious gazes converged on the location, and many figures hurried over, surrounding Jiang Chengxuan's cave. Could it be that Brother Chengxuan has broken through again? Whoa, it really looks like it. Among them were also Lan Yu and his companions. Knowing the inside story, they couldn't help but express their surprise and joy. To achieve a breakthrough to true immortal in 10,000 years was already an extraordinary feat in the celestial domain. For immortals whose lifespan was as long as heaven itself, 10,000 years, while not a blink of an eye, was still quite brief. What is happening here? It seems there's a cave inside. Could it be someone breaking through? Whoa, what level of breakthrough could cause such phenomena? Is our myriad stars celestial domain alchemy alliance about to gain another true immortal? Meanwhile, the other alchemists arriving at the scene were all engaged in discussions. Even the inner cabinet elders of the alliance were attracted to the scene, watching the phenomena in the void with surprise and delight. Although the myriad stars celestial domain alchemy alliance was a top-tier force within the domain, it primarily consisted of alchemists, with few having high cultivation levels. Therefore, they naturally coveted powerful alchemists even more. Inside the cave, Jiang Chengxuan was still unaware of the commotion outside, or rather, he didn't care. Bathed in celestial light, he was enveloped in a layer of mysterious aura, his presence already integrated with the world around him. Every move he made seemed to align perfectly with the natural order. This is the power of the true immortal realm. Jiang Chengxuan marveled, fully comprehending the vast difference between the true immortal and immortal ascension realms, which was far greater than he had originally imagined. Congratulations to the host for achieving the true immortal realm. You have received a system reward, True Immortal Ascension Talisman. This talisman can upgrade a celestial treasure to the true immortal level. Just then, a joyful sound echoed in Jiang Chengxuan's mind. It was the system's voice, offering timely congratulations and a reward after his breakthrough to true immortal. This gift made Jiang Chengxuan's smile even wider. Since focusing on the path of cultivation, the system had adjusted its offerings accordingly, emphasizing combat power as paramount. The true immortal ascension talisman was a treasure that could instantly boost his combat abilities. Holding the talisman, Jiang Chengxuan wasted no time in summoning the 5 Elements universe map, activating the talisman to merge it with the treasure. Instantly, infinite celestial light erupted within the cave, illuminating it as bright as day. The overwhelming power emanated from the 5 Elements universe map, shooting into the void, with its aura climbing continuously. When Jiang Chengxuan looked again, the 5 Elements universe map had undergone a massive transformation. Its surface was now covered with an indelible celestial glow, and the elemental changes within it had become incredibly mystical, flowing seamlessly into countless forms, exuding a vast aura. This innate spiritual treasure which had accompanied Jiang Chengxuan thus far had now advanced alongside him, matching his progress. Gazing at the increasingly ethereal and divine map, Jiang Chengxuan's heart was filled with immense joy. With this, the 10,000-year-long seclusion and cultivation came to an official end. Now, he felt confident enough to face the true immortal dragon alone, or to suppress the golden snake immortal and phoenix sky immortal. It's time to leave seclusion. Feeling the completely depleted energy of the cultivation pill within him, Jiang Chengxuan felt a sense of relief and impatience to step outside. With a point of his finger in the void, the barrier that had been sealed for 10,000 years gradually opened with a roar. The celestial energy that had accumulated for 10 millennia spilled out like a tidal wave, silently flowing out from the cave and spreading in all directions. The cultivators waiting outside the cave saw this, and their eyes sparkled with anticipation. They knew that the one causing all this was about to reveal themselves. In the midst of the celestial energy sea, a flawless figure slowly emerged, completely integrated with the surrounding world, with no aura leaking out, as if it were merely a projection, extremely ethereal. Yet these sharp-eyed alchemists could immediately tell that this person was likely a true immortal. Haha, congratulations, felicitations, Jiang Xiaoyu, congratulations on breaking through to the true immortal realm. you have truly brought glory to our myriad stars celestial domain alchemy alliance." At this moment, even before Lan Yu and the others could greet Jiang Chengxuan, an elder in the attire of the inner cabinet of the Alchemy Alliance stepped forward, his voice booming like a bell. Upon hearing this, the surrounding alchemists gasped in awe. It was confirmed that this person had indeed broken through to the true immortal realm. Having sensed the numerous presences as the barrier opened, Jiang Chengxuan was prepared for this situation. Facing the congratulatory exclamations of the inner cabinet elder of the myriad star celestial domain alchemy alliance, Jiang Chengxuan smiled slightly, cupped his hands in greeting to everyone around, and said, "The elder is too kind. Jiang was merely fortunate enough to have some insights. I apologize for disturbing everyone." Upon hearing this, the observing alchemists were flattered and hurriedly returned the salute, saying, "Not at all, not at all. Fellow Taoist is truly blessed. We are here to admire your achievements." In response, the inner cabinet elder chuckled heartily, his figure flickering as he slowly approached Jiang Chengxuan. "My young friend, your alchemy skills were already exceptional, and now that your cultivation has also broken through to the true immortal realm, such talent shouldn't be wasted. It would be a disservice to our alchemy alliance if we did not recognize it." Speaking with great sincerity before everyone, the inner cabinet elder's words made the gathered alchemists suspect something was coming. Jiang Chengxuan had the same thought. As expected, the inner cabinet elder turned his gaze to Jiang Chengxuan, clapped his hands, and two attendants stepped forward, presenting two precious items. With a kind smile, the inner cabinet elder looked at Jiang Chengxuan and said, "From today onwards, the Myriad Star Celestial Domain Alchemy Alliance wishes to offer you a seat in the inner cabinet. Would you be willing to accept it?" Hearing this, everyone present was stunned. Despite having some expectations, they couldn't help but be amazed. The position of an inner cabinet elder of the Alchemy Alliance was reserved for the top echelon within the Myriad Star Celestial Domain. The Alchemy Alliance managed over 90% of the domain's alchemists, yet its inner cabinet comprised only a few hundred members, representing an incredibly elite group. Jiang Chengxuan, still so young, had received such an honor, which was nothing short of astounding. Jiang Chengxuan was momentarily stunned but maintained his composure, which only increased the admiration of the observing alchemists. He turned to the inner cabinet elder, and without hesitation, accepted the generous offer with a cupped hand and a smile. "This is truly my good fortune. I am deeply honored by the inner cabinet's kindness. I will strive to contribute more to the alliance to repay this favor." The inner cabinet elder, beaming with joy, signaled for the attendants to present the ceremonial items. These were the attire representing the inner cabinet of the Alchemy Alliance and a mystical badge. Seeing these items sparked another wave of murmurs among the crowd, as heated gazes were cast upon them. Under these circumstances, Jiang Chengxuan accepted the items, using his magic to don the attire and badge. Instantly, his demeanor transformed, exuding a natural aura of authority and dignity. Satisfied, the inner cabinet elder nodded and laughed, introducing Jiang Chengxuan to the duties and benefits of being an inner cabinet elder. An inner cabinet elder was among the highest echelons of the Alchemy Alliance, involved in making decisions on major matters through votes. They had access to every part of the Alchemy Alliance and could request any resources. Their benefits were on par with the leaders of the largest sects. In return, Jiang Chengxuan was required to periodically refine some pills for the Alchemy Alliance and respond to any urgent matters to assist the alliance when needed. "All right, Chengxuan, you have just joined the inner cabinet. There are many things you will need to learn gradually, so don't rush. If you have any questions, feel free to report to the inner cabinet or ask me." Having completed his task of inviting Jiang Chengxuan to the inner cabinet elder made no further delays and took his leave. The gathered crowd, after enjoying the spectacle, also began to disperse, envious of the new inner cabinet elder. Soon, news of this event would spread throughout the entire Myriad Star Celestial Domain Alchemy Alliance, and possibly even among all alchemists within the Myriad Star Celestial Domain. "Chengxuan, congratulations. Elder Jiang, it's an honor. Brother Chengxuan, your fortune is truly enviable." As the area gradually cleared, Lan Yu and his companions approached, their expressions a mix of amazement and joy as they congratulated Jiang Chengxuan. In response, Jiang Chengxuan laughed heartily, exchanging pleasantries with them. This unexpected reward was indeed a delightful surprise. Jiang Chengxuan and Lan Yu's group spent several days drinking and chatting, sharing their experiences over the past 10,000 years before parting ways. Before leaving, Lan Yu and the others looked at Jiang Chengxuan with complex expressions, full of reluctance. Brother Chengxuan, may you succeed in fulfilling your heart's desire in other celestial domains. Farewell, Chengxuan, until we meet again. Amidst farewells, they gradually left, leaving Jiang Chengxuan with their parting words echoing in his mind. With a sigh, Jiang Chengxuan acknowledged the inevitable. After breaking through to true immortal, he had fully prepared to leave the myriad stars' celestial domain to search for his wife, Shen Ruyan. During their conversations, he had informed his friends of his departure, knowing that this might be the last time they would meet. As cultivators, they understood the necessity of such decisions and accepted the farewells with grace. In the following days, Jiang Chengxuan leveraged his new inner cabinet elder privileges, utilizing all resources to search through the Alchemy Alliance's archives for information about Qin Shenwu and Shen Ruyan. With the power of the entire Alchemy Alliance behind him, he investigated every clue and rumor. Over several centuries, numerous pieces of information regarding Qin Shenwu and Shen Ruyan came to his attention. Although none directly pinpointed their whereabouts, these pieces allowed Jiang Chengxuan to proceed with the next phase of his plan, using heaven's calculation to deduce their locations. One day, seated on a meditation cushion within his cave, Jiang Chengxuan closed his eyes to adjust his breathing. Around him, countless characters written in celestial energy filled the cave, resembling a grand hall of scriptures. These characters recorded all the information Jiang Chengxuan had gathered about Qin Shenwu and Shen Ruyan. Heaven's calculation search. Bathed in the sea of text, Jiang Chengxuan's low voice resonated, celestial rules glowing brilliantly around him. His soul and body transformed into pure, flawless jade, as if he could see the entire celestial domain's rules and will. Instantly, connections formed between him and the characters around him, turning into streams of light linking to his body. A vast, ancient will descended upon the cave, the will of the entire celestial domain. Even for Jiang Chengxuan, only a glimpse of this immense will was possible, necessitating the collection of information for his deductions. Without his true immortal cultivation, this calculation might have been impossible. As the heavenly will descended, Jiang Chengxuan recalled all the information he had gathered, continually envisioning the existence of Shen Ruyan and Qin Shenwu. The power of heaven's calculation followed this intent, seeking them within the boundless threads of fate. This task was as challenging as finding two leaves in a vast forest of towering trees. The world of celestial domain's heavenly secrets is 1,000,000 times vaster than that of Tianheng realm. The heavens' calculation, almost omnipotent in the lower realm, now faced immense difficulty and powerlessness. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan's consciousness had fully followed the heavens' calculation, immersing itself in the sea of karma. Before him lay countless interwoven threads of karma, vast as smoke, drifting like dust within the mysterious celestial glow, influencing the destinies of countless cultivators across the celestial domain. However, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes remained unwavering, his Tao heart undisturbed. He plunged into the sea of heavenly secrets, meticulously searching for anything related to himself, Shen Ruyan or Qin Shenwu. This process was undoubtedly tedious and tested his patience to the utmost. As time flowed relentlessly, 1,000 years passed in the blink of an eye. Throughout this millennium, Jiang Chengxuan never ceased his efforts, steadfast in his determination to see it through. Then, at a certain moment within the sea of heavenly secrets, he unearthed an extremely faint light point. Instantly, a tremor from his very soul resonated within him. In that moment, his heart, which had remained calm for 1,000 years, was seized by overwhelming joy. This light of karma contained the unmistakable aura of Shen Ruyan. Even after 10,000 years, he had not forgotten her presence, etched deeply in his memory. Without hesitation, he poured all his deductive power into the light of karma. In the convergence of karma, blurred scenes began to materialize in his mind. Chunming Celestial Domain. Loose Cultivator Alliance. Jiang Chengxuan exerted all his might to deduce, eventually obtaining this crucial piece of information. These few words were the result of a millennium of deduction. For Jiang Chengxuan, however, it was worth every effort. In a trance, he seemed to see the radiant and graceful figure of his Tao companion, Shen Ruyan, her gentle and tender voice echoing in his mind. Boom! At that moment, the sea of karma within the celestial domain sensed Jiang Chengxuan's probing. It stirred, unleashing a profound wave of energy that swiftly expelled Jiang Chengxuan's consciousness from it, returning him to his cave in the myriad stars' celestial domain alchemy alliance. Buzz. Simultaneously, a mysterious power descended within the cave, surging and distorting everything. Jiang Chengxuan quickly dispersed his deductive power, gradually calming the disturbance. Clearly, this was the instinctive defense of the celestial domain's will. Fortunately, the power of heaven's calculation was formidable, and Jiang Chengxuan's query was not some ancient secret, allowing him to easily extricate himself from the karmic ties. Phew! Jiang Chengxuan exhaled deeply, standing up from his meditative state. His joints cracked audibly after a millennium of stillness. Heaven rewards the diligent, he murmured, recalling the information about Shen Ruyan with a satisfied smile. After 10,000 years of ascension, the hope of their reunion was finally within reach. Ding! At that moment, a sudden voice echoed in his mind, startling and then delighting him. Host, please fulfill the task of journeying to the Xianxia celestial domain. The voice from the system issued a task directing Jiang Chengxuan to the celestial domain where Shen Ruyan was located. Evidently, the system deemed it the right time to encourage him to complete this mission. Though he would head to the Xianxia celestial domain regardless, the unexpected directive brought him considerable joy. Now everything is ready, Jiang Chengxuan laughed heartily. A few days after concluding his deductions, Jiang Chengxuan stood quietly at the entrance of his cave, gazing at the ethereal myriad star celestial domain alchemy alliance and the hazy path ahead. His heart was a mix of excitement and reluctance. Leaving this place meant he wouldn't return anytime soon, and everything here might only remain in his memories. Before departing, he had taken care of numerous matters, ensuring everything was in order. With all arrangements made with Lan Yu and his friends, as well as the Alchemy Alliance's inner cabinet, he was ready to set off. His destination was the only place in the myriad star celestial domain capable of interdomain teleportation, the soaring immortal valley. This valley, known for its unstable yet intense spatial forces, was said to be bottomless. Even earthly immortals and heavenly immortals were unaware of its depths. Many self-proclaimed invincible immortals had ventured in to uncover its secrets, only to vanish without a trace, leaving behind legends of the soaring immortal valley. The ancient teleportation array capable of interdomain travel was located somewhere deep within this valley. Its position was not fixed, often shifting with the valley's terrifying spatial fluctuations. Jiang Chengxuan set off toward the soaring immortal valley, his heart filled with a mixture of anticipation and resolve. The journey ahead was fraught with unknowns, but his determination to reunite with Shen Ruyan drove him forward, ready to face whatever challenges lay in wait. Thus, completing an interdomain teleportation was not a simple task. Perhaps this was one of the reasons the system issued the task. According to the records of the Myriad Star Celestial Domain Alchemy Alliance, the last known successful interdomain teleportation was accomplished a millennium ago. Recently, the soaring immortal valley had been experiencing frequent disturbances. Many immortals who ventured into it returned empty-handed, and some were even engulfed by the valley, meeting their demise. However, these challenges did not faze Jiang Chengxuan. Regardless of the obstacles ahead, he only needed to overcome them. After cultivating for tens of thousands of years, he had long grown accustomed to such trials. Let's go. After a moment, Jiang Chengxuan softly spoke to himself. He severed all ties and, without alarming anyone, transformed into a light beam and left his cave. Using his token, he opened the entrance to the Myriad Stars Celestial Domain Alchemy Alliance. This time, thanks to his inner cabinet elder token, he was allowed through without any verification. Without any incident, Jiang Chengxuan activated the teleportation array in the Grand Hall and, amidst the spatial fluctuations, left the Myriad Stars Celestial Domain Alchemy Alliance. With that, all matters were settled. Myriad Stars Celestial Domain. Soaring Immortal Valley. From the map of the entire Myriad Stars Celestial Domain, the valley looked like an enormous silver river, deep and mysterious, flowing ceaselessly. However, this was merely a peculiar phenomenon caused by the valley's intense spatial forces. The soaring immortal valley was shrouded in silver mist all year round. No matter how fierce the wind, it could not disperse the mist, nor did it alter its flow. At the valley's periphery, Jiang Chengxuan observed his surroundings with intrigue. Layers of silver mist reflected a hazy glow, making him feel as though he were walking through a world of mirrors. Under the influence of this mist, even the scenery appeared distorted, causing him some discomfort. Lower-level cultivators who strayed into this area would find it challenging to navigate. However, for Jiang Chengxuan, who wielded the power of the space true understanding, this was of little consequence. With a gentle wave of his right hand, a silver light enveloped him, forming a barrier. Through this barrier, the distorted scenery became normal again. Satisfied, Jiang Chengxuan continued through the mist, deeper into the soaring immortal valley. His journey was not aimless wandering. Although he did not know the exact location of the interdomain teleportation array, he focused on sensing fluctuations in spatial forces, heading toward the anomalies. No matter how vast the valley, the power of such an array, even when dormant, would still leave a noticeable impact. However, saying this was easy. Doing it was another matter. The valley's vastness and ever-changing nature, combined with its dangers, meant Jiang Chengxuan had to proceed with utmost caution. Buzz. Suddenly, a black spatial rift opened before Jiang Chengxuan, appearing like a dark arrow. Reacting swiftly, he condensed his celestial power and pressed down on the rift, sealing it shut. This was one of the dangers of the valley, ubiquitous spatial anomalies. While trivial to Jiang Chengxuan, who possessed the power of a true celestial and a high understanding of space, these rifts could easily injure or even kill lesser immortals. Not far from there, the second danger of the valley revealed itself. A sharp sound split the air as a large, round black shadow emerged from the silver mist, aiming for Jiang Chengxuan. It was a giant head, floating ominously with a terrifying, hollow expression and shriveled form, known as a flying head ghost. These creatures lurked in the valley's mist, using its reflective properties to become invisible, launching surprise attacks on unsuspecting cultivators. Many who perished here met their end due to these monsters. But as the monster neared, Jiang Chengxuan turned calmly and clenched his hand, manipulating the spatial forces. The creature's head burst into silver fragments under the immense pressure. Jiang Chengxuan swept the fragments aside and picked one up, noting the faint spatial energy within. Though useless to him, he realized it had another potential use. Activate Heaven's calculation. With a solemn expression, Jiang Chengxuan chanted, summoning a mysterious aura to envelop the fragment. Soon, scenes from the flying head ghost's memories played in his mind. Unfortunately, they did not provide the information he sought. This method may be crude, but combined with my other techniques, it should save time, Jiang Chengxuan murmured. The flying head ghosts had limited range but could perceive many hidden changes, making them useful for his search. Using these methods, Jiang Chengxuan spent a century navigating the Silver Valley. This period also yielded an unexpected benefit. Frequent use of his spatial abilities enhanced his mastery over the space true understanding. One day, at a massive cliff within the valley, Jiang Chengxuan finally found the interdomain teleportation array. He gazed upward with joy, seeing an array composed of countless vertical space crystals, radiating an ancient, majestic aura amidst the silver mist. It resembled a massive silver web, sprawled across the cliff, awe-inspiring in its grandeur. This array, constructed by ancient powerful beings, had survived countless ages, maintained by the valley's forces. Jiang Chengxuan inhaled deeply and eagerly approached, piercing the mist to reach the vast cliff. Up close, the array's immense power was palpable. The peak of spatial laws, even for Jiang Chengxuan, was overwhelming and enigmatic. Yet, he had no time to study it. His concern was activating the array to reach the Xuanming celestial domain and find his Tao companion. Staring at the labyrinthine array, he frowned, wondering if he needed to locate the array's core. At that moment, several figures emerged from the silver mist on the other side, appearing before him. Seeing the sudden appearance of the three people, Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but be surprised. In this vast and boundless Aoxian Valley, he had walked for hundreds of years and had never encountered other cultivators before. And now, he just happened to meet them at the location of the cross-realm teleportation array. We really found it. It's the cross-realm teleportation array. Someone's here. At this moment, the opposing cultivators first exclaimed with joy and then with surprise upon seeing Jiang Chengxuan. For a moment, both sides turned their gazes towards each other, scrutinizing carefully. Facing Jiang Chengxuan were two men and a woman, each wearing different celestial robes, not appearing to belong to any particular faction. Their appearances and demeanors were gentle and did not give off the impression of being villains at first glance. The female cultivator, especially, had some beauty, dressed in a purple dress with a flower-like face and moon-like charm. This made Jiang Chengxuan slightly more at ease. Although you can't fully know a person's heart, a person's appearance can tell a lot about them. Most importantly, the three of them didn't have a very powerful aura, just around the level of transforming immortal realm, which to the current Jiang Chengxuan posed no threat. May I ask your name? We are all wandering cultivators from Wongsing Celestial Realm, here to find this cross-realm teleportation array, with no hostile intentions. Before Jiang Chengxuan could speak, one of the male cultivators clasped his hands in greeting and spoke. Looking at Jiang Chengxuan, the three of them couldn't help but feel a sense of gravity. Although Jiang Chengxuan's aura was not evident, his calm demeanor and effortless grace made him impossible to ignore. My surname is Jiang, and I just happened to come here seeking the cross-realm teleportation array as well. Jiang Chengxuan replied kindly, which eased the worries of the three on the other side. Thus, the four of them cautiously began to engage in conversation and gradually familiarized themselves with each other. After all, encountering other cultivators in the Aoxian Valley was extremely rare. Unless absolutely necessary, no one wanted to provoke conflict. Besides, they were all here for the same purpose, seeking the cross-realm teleportation array, which made them somewhat fellow travelers. Through the conversation, Jiang Chengxuan learned about the destination and purpose of the three. The group primarily revolved around the female cultivator, while the other two were essentially drifters, accompanying her as friends. The female cultivator's purpose for cross-realm teleportation was simple yet rather strange. She was here to find her family in another celestial realm. She had grown up as an orphan and, through chance, embarked on the path of cultivation. But after achieving a certain level of mastery, she discovered a secret about herself and learned the whereabouts of her family. Moreover, her family member was also a skilled cultivator who should still be alive if nothing unexpected happened. Although cultivators are often seen as detached, this female cultivator was not such a person. Therefore, she was determined to undergo all difficulties to reach the cross-realm teleportation array. Oh, in that case we share a common purpose. I too am traveling to another celestial realm to find someone. Jiang Chengxuan said with a smile, feeling a moment of kinship. Hearing this, the three became even more relaxed. The female cultivator responded with a bright smile. Brother Jiang, we really are fated to meet. Could you tell me which celestial realm you are heading to? After a brief thought, Jiang Chengxuan decided not to hide it. I'm heading to Xuanming Celestial Realm. The female cultivator exclaimed in surprise, her beautiful face lighting up with joy. She said excitedly, I'm also heading to Xuanming Celestial Realm. This is such a coincidence. Clearly, being able to travel with Jiang Chengxuan brought her great joy. Any discerning person could see that Jiang Chengxuan was extraordinary. As a wandering cultivator in the celestial realms for many years, she understood well that having such a companion was akin to meeting a benefactor. In that case, we truly are destined. Even Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but feel a bit amazed. He had a vague feeling that traveling with her might not be a bad thing for him. However, while the two were engaged in a lively conversation, the expressions of the two male cultivators standing aside turned strange. One, wearing a green robe, showed concern in his eyes, seemingly afraid that the female cultivator would be attracted to Jiang Chengxuan. The other had a shifting gaze, with an unfathomable emotion lurking in the depths of his eyes. Although these were subtle signs, Jiang Chengxuan noticed them all, making him a bit more cautious. One of these two seemed to admire the female cultivator, while the other harbored unknown intentions. After familiarizing themselves for a while, they didn't waste much time and began to study the cross-realm teleportation array. Soon, they discovered that to activate the array, they indeed needed to navigate through its labyrinth-like structure and delve into its depths. This discovery made the female cultivator named Feng Zhu feel troubled, her face showing disappointment. She hadn't expected that after all the hardships to get here, there would be yet another challenge ahead. No worries. If you trust me, I can try to see if I can solve it. Jiang Chengxuan said calmly, turning to the three as he approached the edge of the space crystal formations that made up the array. Upon hearing this, the two male cultivators were about to say something, but Feng Zhu immediately responded with joy. That's wonderful, Brother Jiang. To be honest, I don't know anything about formations. This array stuff is beyond me. This unexpected enthusiasm puzzled Jiang Chengxuan. Only Feng Zhu knew in her heart that she had been cultivating alone for many years, with no one to rely on, depending solely on her extremely accurate intuition. In fact, the principles she practiced were related to her instincts, and at this moment, her instincts were warning her that danger was imminent. However, when she was near Jiang Chengxuan, this sense of danger significantly diminished. What this implied was self-evident. Hence, her actions now might seem naive to others. However, Jiang Chengxuan was not inclined to explore this further. He nodded and directly stepped into the brilliant curtain of light. Feng Zhu followed immediately without hesitation. The other two exchanged glances, each with their own thoughts, but they too followed Jiang Chengxuan into the array. Buzz. Suddenly, a strange spatial fluctuation expanded, and an immense power surged out, instantly engulfing the four figures. In their astonished eyes, the scenery before them transformed, with high platforms suddenly obscured by giant silver curtains. They had been absorbed into the teleportation array, and everything around them became incredibly vast. Let's go. Without waiting for Feng Zhu and the others to express their surprise, Jiang Chengxuan quickly assessed the situation. Relying on his knowledge of arrays and his familiarity with spatial forces, he began to understand the array. Feng Zhu's expression turned serious, shedding her earlier naivety. Her aura was condensed but not released, following Jiang Chengxuan closely. Thus, the group, gathered by chance, began to explore the vast and intricate cross-realm teleportation array. Time passed relentlessly, and in the blink of an eye, hundreds of years had gone by in the outside world. During these centuries, Jiang Chengxuan led Feng Zhu and the others through the vast and bizarre array, constantly searching for the way forward. Just as the patience of the two male companions was about to run out, and they were on the verge of questioning Jiang Chengxuan, a massive ancient portal glowing with nine-colored immortal light appeared before them. It seemed to be cast from silver marrow, twisted in a peculiar way, exuding an extremely ancient and formidable power. Seeing this, Feng Zhu's eyes lit up with excitement, her beautiful face flushed as she exclaimed, "We found it! Brother Jiang, you really solved the teleportation array." Everyone present let out a deep breath, their expressions relaxed, smiles appearing on their faces. Good, good, good. Finally, damn it, it's been too long. However, an extremely discordant voice suddenly emerged. Hearing this, Jiang Chengxuan and the others reacted quickly, their auras surging as they turned towards the source of the voice. The speaker was none other than one of the male cultivators who had come with Feng Zhu, named Lu Jia. Lu Jia, you. The other male cultivator beside him frowned. Shut up. Now listen to me. Disperse your immortal power or you'll die here. Ignoring his companion's confusion, Lu Jia spoke arrogantly, taking out an item. It was an oddly shaped celestial treasure, silver-white and irregular, wriggling as if something alive was inside, distorting the surrounding space with a terrifying aura. Even the power of the cross-realm teleportation array fluctuated under its influence, as if it might explode at any moment. What is that, Lu Jia? Are you crazy? Feng Zhu felt a chill in her heart, realizing that the danger she sensed came from within their group. Crazy? You're the crazy one. This item is called the Shattered Space Death Thunder. If it detonates, it will unleash the power of a true immortal, destroying the space within 1,000 miles. If it explodes here, not even a true immortal can survive. Feng Zhu, hand over the celestial treasure on you and swear eternal allegiance, and I might spare your life. Facing Feng Zhu's questioning, Lu Jia's expression turned ferocious, his greed undisguised. Why? His words made Feng Zhu feel as if she had fallen into an icy abyss, her expression full of sorrow. Humph, did you really think I came to this wretched place out of goodwill? Do you think I'm some kind of saint? That idiot Lin Dong admires you, willing to follow you around, but I'm not that foolish. Lu Jia's voice was full of disdainful mockery. Hearing this, the other male cultivator's face turned red with anger, trembling with fury. However, he was clearly aware of the terrifying power of the treasure in Lu Jia's hand, and did not dare to act rashly, merely seething with anger. Halasa. Seeing this reaction, Lu Jia laughed wantonly. He had gone to great lengths to befriend these two, all to find an opportunity to seize the secret treasure from Feng Zhu. Now that his plan was about to succeed, he could no longer suppress the excitement that had built up over thousands of years. Have you said enough? At that moment, a light, nonchalant voice suddenly rang out, plunging the scene into dead silence. Lu Jia's arrogant expression froze, his eyes filled with apprehension as he looked at Jiang Chengxuan. If there was any variable in his plan, it would be this man. However, the special nature of this array made him believe that detonating the shattered space death thunder would kill even a true immortal, giving him confidence. Playing tricks. I don't care who you are, swear an oath of allegiance or die. With a vicious expression, he activated the power of the shattered space death thunder, causing terrifying tremors and spiritual pressure to surge towards Jiang Chengxuan. If forced to detonate the thunder, he had already prepared an escape plan. He believed that under the threat of death, Feng Zhu and the others had no choice. Annoying. To Lu Jia's shock, Jiang Chengxuan faced the destructive power of the thunder without any fear. With a wave of his hand, he unleashed a force that could crush everything in its path, countering the attack. A true immortal. In an instant, Jiang Chengxuan's aura was no longer concealed, and everyone present gasped in shock. Even the confident Lu Jia hadn't expected to encounter a true immortal. For a moment everyone was stunned, displaying different emotions. Feng Zhu's eyes showed confusion and shock, Lin Dong trembled with fear, and Lu Jia's face twisted in disbelief and madness. All the plotting and scheming became meaningless under Jiang Chengxuan's sudden action. In that case you all die. In a moment of madness, Lu Jia poured all his celestial power into the shattered space death thunder, screaming at everyone. He knew that under the hand of a true immortal, he wouldn't survive a second. His only hope lay in the thunder. Despite his unwillingness, he didn't hesitate and activated it instantly. Boom! In the horrified eyes of Feng Zhu and Lin Dong, the shattered space death thunder in Lu Jia's hand underwent an incredible transformation, glowing with immortal light and expanding to its limit. Silver tendrils emerged from it, penetrating the space around. A terrifying destructive force was gathering, just as Lu Jia had said, reaching the level of a true immortal. The astonishing change made Feng Zhu despair. But through the distorted space, she saw Jiang Chengxuan's indifferent expression. Just as the sinister shattered space death thunder was about to fully unleash its power, destroying everything in this realm, Lu Jia's face showed excitement and joy. A flash of celestial light appeared in his hand as he summoned another mysterious celestial treasure. This treasure enveloped him with a twisted force, merging him with the violent space around him, making his figure increasingly faint. This was clearly his prepared escape plan. If he could avoid the destructive power of the shattered space death thunder, even if Feng Zhu and the others survived, he could still come out later to clean up the mess, ensuring his victory. However, at the critical moment, Jiang Chengxuan finally made his move. In an instant, under circumstances where no one else could react, he extended his hand, spreading his fingers as if to encompass the entire world. The overwhelming power of his principles instantly covered everything, and mysterious phenomena unfolded to their extreme, as if bringing everything into a new world. The previously raging space distortions, filled with destructive intent, suddenly fell silent. The colossal form, like a celestial dragon's enormous body, seemed to be throttled, unable to move an inch. This sight left Feng Zhu and the other two in shock, their expressions frozen as they gasped in astonishment and doubt. Under Jiang Chengxuan's power, the previous scene of impending cataclysm seemed like an illusion, vanishing in an instant. Be suppressed. Jiang Chengxuan's calm voice came through as his face remained indifferent. He curled his fingers into a fist, and immediately an invisible force exploded in the twisting void. The location of the shattered space death thunder collapsed instantly, as if a black hole had formed, collapsing everything into a single point. The power comparable to a true immortal was swallowed entirely within. Amazingly, even the cross-domain teleportation array remained undisturbed. Undoubtedly, all these changes were within Jiang Chengxuan's control, with nothing beyond his expectations. Such terrifying power was truly astonishing. How is this possible? Even for a true immortal, the spatial storm of this cross-domain teleportation array shouldn't be quelled so easily. Lu Jia shouted in madness, his words full of disbelief and despair. According to his plan, triggering the shattered space death thunder to disrupt the cross-domain teleportation array should have been unstoppable, even for a true immortal. Yet his perfect plan was effortlessly dismantled by Jiang Chengxuan. You thought using space collapse to kill us was a clever plan. Unfortunately, you met me, Jiang Chengxuan said coldly, a hint of mockery in his eyes. Without the power of the spatial true solution, avoiding this disaster might have cost him dearly. But with the spatial true solution, the so-called shattered space death thunder was mere child's play. Without further ado, Jiang Chengxuan saw Lu Jia attempting to flee. His body shone with silver light as he unleashed his immense spatial power. From all directions it descended like collapsing mountains. Lu Jia, only at the transformation immortal stage, let out a scream and was instantly crushed to ashes, his soul annihilated without any chance to resist. This long-planned conspiracy in the face of absolute power seemed like a joke. Even Feng Zhu and the other two hadn't fully processed what happened before the danger was already eliminated. Moments later, Jiang Chengxuan called them to their senses, and they followed him with admiration into the gate of the cross-domain teleportation array. Buzz! With a wave of energy, the world before them transformed. They found themselves in a secret realm filled with endless radiance. Within, 36 statues carved from colorful spatial divine stones stood, resembling a sandbox shrouded in celestial mist, representing the 36 celestial domains. The most delightful discovery for the group was the vast spatial power contained within these statues, indicating that the cross-domain teleportation array had not been used recently, and its energy was fully charged, ready for activation at any time. Brother Jiang, can this array be activated? Feng Zhu asked excitedly, though with a hint of hesitation. Jiang Chengxuan nodded with a faint smile. Get ready, we're about to leave. Turning to the still disheartened Feng Zhu and the other, he said. The betrayal of their companions had hit them hard, but Jiang Chengxuan's considerate words quickly lifted their spirits, and they nodded eagerly. Without further delay, Jiang Chengxuan unleashed his vast celestial power, channeling it into the cross-domain teleportation array beneath him. Instantly, the entire secret realm lit up with flowing light, the world spinning. Ancient principles extended throughout, sketching out mysterious scenes. The surrounding void gradually blurred, and projections of celestial domains appeared around them. The continuous transitions left everyone dazzled and awestruck. At this moment, it felt as if they were standing in an unimaginable position, overlooking the entirety of the 36 celestial domains. Even Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but be amazed by the grandeur of the scene. Activate, he commanded, regaining his composure and focusing on the formation. Based on ancient records, he had chosen the Xuanming celestial domain. With a determined gaze, he fully activated the array's power. Boom! A deafening roar echoed in their ears. The power of the space rose like the collapse of the heavens, reaching the sky. In the void, countless layers of spatial barriers were opened, creating a hidden passage. This passage remained in a semi-sealed state to protect its security, only becoming fully operational when the cross-domain teleportation array was activated. Without giving the trio more time to think, a mysterious force enveloped them. In an instant, their figures turned into streams of light, entering the teleportation passage along with the array's power. This teleportation was the longest and farthest Jiang Chengxuan had ever experienced. Its operation was vastly different from ordinary teleportation arrays. The cross-domain teleportation array first opened a passage in a certain dimension, keeping it hidden and semi-closed to ensure its safety. Only when the array was activated could this passage be fully opened, allowing those within the array to be transported to the other end. This was not just a simple array, but a combination of array and creation techniques. Jiang Chengxuan felt a sense of awe, and Feng Zhu and the others were left speechless and stunned. The journey through the ancient passage lasted longer than anyone had imagined. The distance between celestial domains was far beyond their expectations. Even the power of the cross-domain teleportation array could only slowly pierce through the complex forces separating the domains. As a result, Jiang Chengxuan and his companions floated through this ancient passage for a century. It was only after Feng Zhu's initial excitement had long subsided that one day, a light from the outside world shone before them. Buzz, with a powerful force breaking through the boundary of the Xuanming celestial domain, Jiang Chengxuan and his companions suddenly appeared in a valley. The endless spatial power dissipated, transforming into silver mist that enveloped the area. The ancient and mysterious passage quickly closed behind them. Xuanming celestial domain, we finally made it. Feng Zhu and her companion cheered, their spirits lifted by the sight of the new domain. Jiang Chengxuan, however, only let out a small breath, nodding slightly. He wasn't as excited because his mind was preoccupied with the voice in his head. Ding! Congratulations to the host for achieving the feat of arriving in the Xuanming celestial domain. Reward: Immortal Wheel of Undying. This defensive celestial treasure can withstand true immortal power and transform pure life force to heal injuries. This time, the system had granted him a defensive treasure of true immortal grade, which also possessed healing abilities. Though the introduction was brief, Jiang Chengxuan immediately sensed the immense restorative power of the immortal wheel of undying upon internalizing it. This treasure could fully heal a cultivator as long as they had a sliver of life remaining, akin to rebirth. Even Jiang Chengxuan couldn't help but feel elated. With this treasure, both he and Shen Ruyan essentially had another life. Taking a deep breath to calm his excitement, Jiang Chengxuan stored the immortal wheel and then turned his attention to their surroundings. The silver mist had not yet dissipated, and towering trees stood around them like green palaces. Although they had reached the Xunaming celestial domain, Jiang Chengxuan couldn't determine their exact location immediately. The cross-domain teleportation array was a one-way mechanism. The Xunaming celestial domain did not possess a magical valley like the wandering immortal valley to support such a grand array. "Brother Jiang, do you have a destination in mind?" Feng Zhu approached Jiang Chengxuan, her dress swaying, with a hesitant yet soft voice. Although each of them had their own goals for coming to the Xunaming celestial domain, they were somewhat vague and unsure of where to start. Feng Zhu's inquiry clearly showed her desire to continue following Jiang Chengxuan for added security. "I'm looking for a rogue cultivator faction in the Xunaming celestial domain," Jiang Chengxuan said thoughtfully. Having formed a bond with Feng Zhu and her companion during their journey, Jiang Chengxuan didn't mind helping them for now, though he had no intention of taking on their goals fully. "I don't know where my relatives are, but the treasure I carry will resonate if we meet," Feng Zhu said sincerely, her eyes filled with hope as she looked at Jiang Chengxuan. After spending so much time together, she knew the best way to connect with him was through honesty. "No problem, you can follow me for now. But once I find the person I'm looking for, you'll need to consider settling down," Jiang Chengxuan said after a moment's thought, agreeing to her request. Hearing this, Feng Zhu's face lit up with joy, and even her male companion seemed momentarily stunned by her radiant smile. Months later, after leaving the valley where they had arrived, Jiang Chengxuan and his companions traveled far and wide until they saw a celestial city in the distance. This remote area had minimal regulation, and they easily entered the city, displaying their cultivation as immortals, met with flattery from the city guards. Though the Xunaming celestial domain was different from the Wangxing celestial domain, the differences were not significant. The main variance lay in the leading factions of each domain. After entering the city and making inquiries, they learned that this city was called Yuanyan City, located in the extreme west of the Xunaming celestial domain, a very remote area. It didn't even have a teleportation array, meaning they had to travel on foot to reach other celestial cities. This left them somewhat frustrated, feeling their luck had not been favorable. However, Jiang Chengxuan instructed Feng Zhu and her companion to investigate whether there were any factions or rogue cultivator alliances nearby. To their surprise, they discovered that the western extremes of the Xunaming celestial domain were indeed densely populated with rogue cultivators. Unlike the Wangxing celestial domain, the Xunaming celestial domain was not fragmented, but rather controlled by dominant factions in each region, making survival difficult for rogue cultivators. These dominant factions treated rogue cultivators as easy prey, regularly robbing and killing them without consequence. As a result, rogue cultivators tended to avoid prosperous areas, finding refuge in remote regions like the extreme west. Jiang Chengxuan realized that the probability of finding Shen Ruyan's rogue cultivator alliance in this area was quite high. This unexpected information felt like a glimmer of hope, leading him to believe their journey might soon see a breakthrough. While Jiang Chengxuan and his group were gathering information in Yuanyan City, over at the Rogue Cultivator Alliance, Shen Ruyan stood before her alchemy furnace, feeling a strange and profound sensation. It was as if something missing had suddenly been found, making her heart feel clear and refreshed. However, before she could savor this feeling, an urgent voice outside her cave dwelling interrupted her thoughts. "Ruyan, that detestable Shengyuan immortal sect is here again. The sect is summoning the elders, please hurry." Hearing this, Shen Ruyan's already furrowed brows knit even tighter, her beautiful eyes showing a trace of coldness. Without further hesitation, she stepped out of her cave dwelling. Waiting outside was an old woman named Elder Su, the person who had brought her into the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. Over thousands of years, their relationship had grown very close. Shen Ruyan, being reclusive and having a cold demeanor, found a kindred spirit in Elder Su, who had become a dear friend to her in the Xianxia immortal territory. Elder Su. Ruyan, let's go and be cautious. After a brief greeting, Elder Su, her face full of worry, immediately led Shen Ruyan away. On the way, Shen Ruyan took out a veil and covered her stunningly beautiful face to avoid unnecessary trouble. In the Xianxia immortal territory, she always appeared in this guise. Even after thousands of years, few knew the true appearance of this influential elder of the sect. The next moment, having completed her preparations, Shen Ruyan no longer concealed her cultivation, unleashing the aura of a mid-stage ascendant. With Elder Su in tow, they vanished from the spot. Yes, over the millennia, Shen Ruyan, with her exceptional understanding and opportunities, had stepped into the realm of the ascendant. This power also significantly enhanced her alchemy skills, benefiting the entire Rogue Cultivator Alliance and gradually earning them a reputation in the extreme West. But it was precisely because of this that trouble had come knocking. With this in mind, the two arrived outside the Rogue Cultivator Alliance's mountain gate. Here, numerous cultivators of the Alliance had gathered. Even their leader, Wang Hangshan, was present. Elder Su, Elder Shen, you're here. Seeing the two arrive, the other elders and cultivators greeted them respectfully. Everyone in the Rogue Cultivator Alliance knew of Shen Ruyan's formidable strength. Shen Ruyan merely acknowledged with a nod and directed her gaze to the area beyond the mountain gate. There, in the misty void, lay a vast army of cultivators clad in golden armor, reflecting the sunlight and exuding a formidable presence. Their leader was terrifyingly powerful, his aura blending with heaven and earth. Though he did not fully reveal it, it was like a mountain pressing down on the land. He was a true immortal. You rogue cultivators, have you made up your minds? Submit to the Xianxia immortal sect, and you'll enjoy endless blessings, a fortune granted by countless lifetimes of cultivation. Don't be ungrateful. The true immortal sneered, looking down on all the members of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance with disdain and arrogance. His words ignited fury among the Alliance members, their faces turning livid. Even Shen Ruyan's eyes grew cold with anger. The rapid development of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance had not matched their growth in individual strength, attracting the covetous eyes of this true immortal sect. The Xianxia immortal sect had repeatedly sent envoys to persuade the Alliance to join them. Fearing the true immortal sect's master, the leader of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance had no choice but to negotiate continuously, avoiding an open conflict. But today, the Xianxia immortal sect could no longer tolerate waiting and brought an army to force the Alliance's decision. HMPH. We in the Rogue Cultivator Alliance have no interest in your so-called blessings. Kings and nobles are not born. We cultivate here well enough without your sect's help. Finally, the long-suppressed leader of the Alliance, Wang Hangshan, exploded, his voice booming as he shouted at the true immortal of Xianxia. Instantly, the immortal's face darkened and the atmosphere turned murderous. The sky seemed to resonate with thunder, and explosive power simmered, ready to erupt. Today, you have no choice. This is your last chance, the immortal said coldly, his true immortal aura no longer concealed, turning into an invisible pressure that slightly distorted the void. This overwhelming power made everyone feel as if a heavy stone was pressing down on their hearts. Thousands of rogue cultivators exchanged worried glances, their expressions filled with fear. Even the Alliance elders looked grim, their jaws clenched tight. They knew that submitting to the Xianxia immortal sect was a pretext. Joining the sect would likely result in worse treatment due to the discrimination from the sect's main members, with even their safety and property rights unprotected. After all, the attitude of the entire Xianxia immortal territory towards rootless rogue cultivators was well known. After a prolonged silence, the Alliance leader Wang Hangshan surveyed his surroundings, seeing the resolve in everyone's eyes. He then fixed his gaze on the true immortal and shouted word by word, "The Rogue Cultivator Alliance will never be slaves." Immediately, countless disciples of the Alliance were inspired. In the sky above, a loud chant rang out. "Rogue Cultivator Alliance, we will never be slaves. Rogue Cultivator Alliance, we will never be slaves. Rogue Cultivator Alliance, we will never be slaves." This defiance against tyranny ignited a fighting spirit in everyone's hearts. Even Shen Ruyan and the elderly Elder Su stood resolute, unwilling to retreat a single step. For Shen Ruyan, the Rogue Cultivator Alliance held her dedication and efforts. After cultivating here for thousands of years, it was impossible to say she had no feelings for it. Thus, she couldn't just abandon the alliance and leave it to its fate. You obstinate fools, kill them. Anyone who resists dies. However, this act of defiance thoroughly enraged the arrogant Xianxia sect leader. His immense immortal power erupted as he roared, and the golden-armored flood behind him surged forward, transforming into countless streams of light, charging toward the mountain gate of the rogue cultivator alliance. A terrifying battle was about to erupt. Meanwhile, on the other side in Yuanyan City, after much investigation, Jiang Chengxuan had just received an immensely exciting piece of news. He heard that in the extreme west, there was a rising rogue cultivator faction whose crafted immortal treasures were extraordinary. These treasures were imbued with terrifying thunderous laws, carrying a destructive aura. Furthermore, the person crafting these treasures was reportedly a rogue cultivator with the surname Shen. This news undeniably pointed to Shen Ruyan's whereabouts. The sudden good news made Jiang Chengxuan ecstatic. He hadn't expected that the information about his long-sought partner would come so easily. It had only been a short while since he entered Xuanzhu immortal territory, and now she was so close. Brother Jiang, should we head straight to the Rogue Cultivator Alliance now? Hearing this, Feng Zhu and the others, though smiling, had complex feelings. While it was joyful that Jiang Chengxuan had found his partner, it also meant that their parting was imminent. Yes. Jiang Chengxuan, focused on the urgency of the situation, nodded with a smile to Feng Zhu. Without any hesitation, he waved his sleeve, summoning his immortal power to tear through the void. Taking the two with him, he transformed into a beam of light, swiftly heading toward the Rogue Cultivator Alliance. With Jiang Chengxuan's current cultivation, traveling thousands of miles was instantaneous. The three of them, hearts pounding with anticipation, watched as everything before them blurred and flew past, eagerly awaiting the moment of arrival. At that very moment, the entire Rogue Cultivator Alliance was in dire straits. The battle had only begun, and the once serene environment was already in ruins. The sky seemed to fall, the earth cracked, and rivers of blood flowed. The domain of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance was ravaged by the powerful cultivators of Xianxia sect, their terrifying power bringing devastation. Countless rogue cultivators fought desperately with their treasures against the invaders. Even the elderly Elder Su did not hesitate to join the fray, wielding her treasures in fierce combat. The strongest enemy, the Xianxia sect leader, was held off by the combined efforts of Alliance leader Wang Hangshan and Shen Ruyan, who were using the protective array of the Alliance. Besides the leader, Shen Ruyan was the strongest in the Alliance. Insignificant worms, overestimating yourselves. In the void, the Xianxia sect leader sneered with a cruel expression, facing Shen Ruyan's powerful attacks and the array's defenses. He unleashed a massive palm strike, connecting with the entire realm, pulling the elements and suppressing everything beneath it, a display of true immortal power. Boom! The battlefield resounded with the loudest explosion yet, tearing apart a large section of space and unleashing chaotic energy. Under this blow, the Alliance's protective array nearly collapsed, and Shen Ruyan was forced back 100 feet, her expression serious. Despite her formidable abilities, she was no match for a true immortal. The gap between them was immense, far greater than any ordinary difference in cultivation levels. Submit to me. In an instant, the sect leader manifested various visions, covering the world and exploding with destructive force. With a cold glint in his eye, he seized an opportunity and launched another deadly strike at the Alliance. Boom! An overwhelming blast of immortal power struck the protective array, shattering it with a deafening explosion. In that moment, every member of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance felt despair, their hearts chilled. Before they could react, the terrifying aftermath swept through, claiming countless lives. Even the elders who had sworn to fight to the death felt sorrow and desolation. The Alliance had grown from a handful of individuals to its current size, with countless sacrifices and hardships. Their goal was never to dominate the world, but to create a haven for rogue cultivators to practice freely. But fate was cruel, and even such a modest dream seemed out of reach. Since you refuse to submit, you will all die. You're nothing but ants. The true immortal sect leader cared nothing for their feelings. His eyes filled with cold bloodlust as he prepared to unleash another attack. Without the protection of the array, the death toll among the rogue cultivators would be catastrophic. Seeing this, the members of the Rogue Cultivator Alliance were all filled with fear and disbelief. At this critical moment, Shen Ruyan's earlier premonition intensified, distracting her from the battle. She thought she had been cursed. But then a powerful voice cut through the void from afar, freezing her in her tracks. "Stop!" This voice, imbued with immense power, instantly dissipated the energy gathered in the sect leader's hand. Everyone turned in astonishment to see a towering figure standing on a cloud of rainbow light, arriving in an instant. His aura, that of a true immortal, was unmistakable and shook the entire battlefield. Even the arrogant sect leader's eyes narrowed in caution. "Who are you?" the sect leader demanded, his tone grave. However, the newcomer paid him no mind. In his eyes there was only one figure, an ethereal, peerless beauty. In the stunned silence, Shen Ruyan's tear-filled eyes locked onto the figure, filled with disbelief and joy. In the next instant, her elegant figure flew towards him like a swallow returning to its nest, crashing into his chest. "Husband, I've missed you so much. Wife, you've suffered, I'm here now." This timely arrival could be none other than Jiang Chengxuan. After a separation of thousands of years, the two who had ascended from the spirit realm to the immortal realm were finally reunited. Their heartfelt emotions and the trials they had endured were beyond words. They simply embraced tightly, like the most ordinary of couples. The onlookers, witnessing this divine pair, felt a sacred aura wash over them. The fierce battle came to a halt, the murderous atmosphere giving way to an eerie calm. In the distance, Feng Zhu watched the reunion with a complex expression, her emotions a mix of joy and sorrow. In the midst of the fierce battlefield, the breathtaking scene finally came to an end after a long time. Jiang Chengxuan and Shen Ruyan stood side by side, their faces emanating a serene and divine light. Looking at their expressions, one could tell that no matter what dangers lay ahead, they would resolutely face them together. Nothing could separate them. "Who are you? Do you intend to interfere with the affairs of my Shengyuan immortal sect?" Seeing this, only the true immortal sect master remained calm, his eyes narrowing as he looked at Jiang Chengxuan, questioning sharply. After observing for a while, based on Jiang Chengxuan's attire and his relationship with Shen Ruyan, the sect master guessed that Jiang Chengxuan was likely a rogue cultivator as well. This assumption calmed him considerably, and his arrogance returned. "Ruyan, what is happening here?" But once again, Jiang Chengxuan ignored the sect master, turning to Shen Ruyan and asking gently. "Yes?" Without any hesitation, Shen Ruyan objectively recounted everything that had happened, including the oppression, coercion, and eventual attempt of the Shengyuan immortal sect to forcibly occupy the rogue cultivator alliance. Hearing the whole story, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes grew cold. "Such injustice defies the fairness of the immortal path. I do not wish to make enemies, but if you intend to seize this place by force, then I have no choice but to intervene." The next moment, his true immortal aura erupted, shaking the void. Jiang Chengxuan's body radiated divine light as he addressed the Shengyuan immortal sect members with a thunderous voice. The elders and disciples of the rogue cultivator alliance, realizing they had encountered a benefactor, looked at Jiang Chengxuan with hopeful and tearful eyes. On the other hand, the members of the Shengyuan immortal sect were all intimidated by Jiang Chengxuan's aura, their faces turning grim. With such a powerful presence opposing them, regardless of the outcome, the Shengyuan immortal sect would undoubtedly pay a heavy price, contrary to their intentions for coming here. Even a Pyrrhic victory was unacceptable. Thus, in Jiang Chengxuan's declaration, the sect master began to ponder. "HMPH, let's see what you're capable of." The sect master sneered, his expression turning cold. With a roar, his immense immortal power erupted, tearing through the void and launching an attack. He had no intention of retreating directly, as that would make the Shengyuan immortal sect appear weak. At the very least, he had to personally engage Jiang Chengxuan in battle to conclude the conflict. If Jiang Chengxuan proved to be weak, the sect master could continue their campaign to annex the rogue cultivator alliance and possibly kill a true immortal, bringing great fame to the Shengyuan immortal sect. With these thoughts in mind, the sect master unleashed his full power. In an instant, countless golden lights stood like cliffs around Jiang Chengxuan, crystalline and jade-like, resembling a golden mountain and river scroll, pressing down upon him. The terrifying power made everyone present gasp. But facing this assault, Jiang Chengxuan remained calm. He waved his hand, manifesting the 5 elements, life and death, and reincarnation laws. Within the golden mountains and rivers, countless world visions and myriad transformations appeared, containing overpowering immortal rules. Boom! In the next moment, before anyone could react, The two forces collided in the void, sending shockwaves that made the world tremble. However, the outcome of this clash was unexpected for everyone. The sect master's manifested rules shattered instantly upon contact with Jiang Chengxuan's visions. The grand golden world collapsed as if the sky had fallen. How is this possible? The sect master's heart froze, feeling as though he had fallen into an ice cave. This scene clearly demonstrated that Jiang Chengxuan's understanding of the immortal rules was far superior. You wanted me to make a move, so let's see how you handle it. In response, Jiang Chengxuan coldly declared. His power surged, no longer concealed, and the immortal energy enhanced by cultivation pills and the celestial beast body filled the sky, shaking the entire void. This display stunned everyone, proving Jiang Chengxuan's dominance over the sect master. The sect master was now genuinely panicked. Regardless of whether Jiang Chengxuan was a rogue cultivator, his strength clearly surpassed his own. Boom! In the silent battlefield, only the violent roar of immortal energy remained. In the next instant, under the gaze of everyone, Jiang Chengxuan's immortal power, like a collapsing sky, surged forward with immense force. Even the true immortal sect master felt insignificant under this pressure. No. Facing such terrifying power, the sect master hurriedly summoned his immortal treasure, unleashing its power to fend off the attack. However, this could not change the outcome, and he was forced back step by step. Finally, with a pained expression, he took out a glowing golden jade, crushing it. Instantly, golden rays shot up to the sky, transforming into a sharp force that finally dissipated Jiang Chengxuan's attack.